I am Dr. Brenda Jane Power, and the doctor represents the metaphysics. So, what's the nature of being? The show is Medicine Woman Soultion. Your soul, Soul, Tion, the solution. Your soul has the solution, but can you hear it? Can you hear it? So, what issues do you have in life that needs addressing? Problems, issues, dramas, traumas, physical, mental, emotional. Um, Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. What what do you got going on in your life? What do you need answers to? What can your soul tell you? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out in today's show. Who wants to participate? What are we looking at? Give me your questions. Let's see what happens. The energy on the planet is definitely different. It's more supportive for those that were trained to be, and I do mean trained, to be quiet, to stay the victim, to become this timid person that emotions will control you. Shame and guilt can control you. So, what type of questions? Are you a people pleaser? What you don't want to be? Are you? Let's see. What else is there? I'm trying to find the screen so I can actually communicate with people. Going live on a few formats here. But what is your questions? People have questions all the time, and yes, we can, there can be, you can come on live and chat about it. You can have a $15 chat, a $25 video audio chat, or just audio only, or a $5 one. And you can pay it forward. You can gift somebody if you feel like that you want to gift somebody. Oh, the chat seems funny tonight. Everything seems to be weird. Not sure what to think of it. Hi, how are you? There's Amy. I'm just looking at how about 5 minutes ago the lighting was just right and now it's off. And just frequencies and things are different. So your chakras really need to be energized and cleaned and use intention. Next few months, I'm going to be diving in and studying all that for myself, and so that I'll eventually share that with you. Hi, Vicki. How are you? And there are things that in this world you need to wake up to. So, if you're trained to keep yourself safe, there we go. If you trained yourself to keep yourself safe, what does that mean to you? That means that you're going to do self-preservation if you've had a lot of trauma growing up. And it can be just as simple as somebody screaming at you all the time. You have your abuses, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual abuse. There can be stories that you've had in your life that haunt you, scare you, own you. They've taken rent inside your head. You can heal these things. You can change the emotional chemical peptide. Hi, Pam. How are you? Good. So the lovely women are here. Amy, Jennifer, Vicki, Pam, and who else do we have over here? I can't see that far away. Hello. Hello. What kind of questions do you have? What is plaguing you besides relationships? Is there any? Hi, April Lynn. What kind of relationships do you have? Okay, so in this day and age, what is on your mind? And if you don't realize where your mind goes, like over here, and I'm curious of why that one person was blocked. They just started following. Just curious. Tell me why. Our moderators are always doing a good job. Sometimes I wish I had a moderator or somebody that could make these little short videos before you put them up. I just don't seem to have that in my repertoire. So again, what kind of issues? So that could be an issue for me, but all I have to do is start applying a schedule, getting insight, making myself discipline. So Spirit is asking, what do you need closure to so you can have a healthier life? Maybe you're not aware of it. Maybe you're just so wrapped up in your day-to-day living. Everything's great. This is what's going on. And you don't even know that you're putting energy out there in a nocebo effect. Does anybody know what nocebo means? It's the opposite of placebo. So hi Autumn, how are you? So what does placebo mean? And flippant thinking, flippant speaking is something that you may not know you do because you copied your parents and your friends, or that seems to be the only social thing, or that's the only thing that emotions drive you. You could be like a water sign that has more emotions control you than anything else, and maybe you haven't got a handle on that. So I'm right at the cusp. I'm Leo and Cancer and Leo at the same time. So I'm fire and water. And one of the things in my career was not realizing that life is hard, or life is, it could be good and hard. That doesn't sound right, but it is both. It is a mixture of things. It is all things. If you were to say what kind of movie you are, what kind of movie would you be? What kind of movie would you be? I cannot change this in my video. See, I just can't do it. So for me, it's pretty much a laid back, funny, humorous, loving, kind, heartfelt comedy. And it's growth, it's evolution. Wonderful. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for saying hello. A Nocebo Effect is the opposite of placebo. Hi, how are you? If you've never had a reading from me before, let me know. I'll give you one for free. If you'd like to have one, you can do a paid one as well. Now, nocebo is when you think of positive thinking and you put all that positive thinking out there, and you're like, but I don't see anything in return. And it's not that you're doing it just to get something in return, but you're learning to trust yourself, have self-esteem. But when people don't realize that, okay, so that's just everyday life. This is what happens when they get caught up mentally and they get caught up emotionally about their life. And they don't know this. They don't know this. And every day it's a worry. Every day you're listening to the chatterbox, but every day you're not realizing who's doing the listening. You're doing the listening to the point where you're taking it in, yeah, and you're taking it in and you are reacting. You're responding. You knee-jerk reaction. You're doing all these things. So what does this mean? What does it mean? When I allow myself to pay attention, who's paying attention? The chatterbox or me? Wait a minute. Who's the voice in my head? And one of the things I noticed growing up is why is like, I could feel this negative talk, negative thinking, this negative. And it was always sad, always depressed, always, it was just, to me, it was just torture. And I didn't like it. And I remember it was normal for them that you worry, that you fear, that you be controlled, you be parented, they put the fear in you that you can't really trust the world out there. And we turn around and trust fear. So when you get incoming calls, you don't have it where it's a suspected spam or, you know, private number. You just answer it. You don't realize you should be knocking at the, someone's knocking. Who is it? But fear tells you everything's going to be okay. Fear lies to you. Fear, I had this session, with the person, and it's in the great revelation is fear. Why does it seem so believable when it's so fearful? And a lot of it has to do with the way you talk to yourself. What does that mean? It means you don't realize the programs of every age that you've been, every trauma, every drama has a running voice from that event. The thoughts that you were thinking then, the emotions that were going on then, all the unresolved continued stories are there. So what does it mean? It means that when you get to wake up, it's not just having empathy and putting the shoe in the other foot to understand that you shouldn't hurt anybody, but you shouldn't hurt yourself either. And one of the things I realized is that I didn't like when I kept hearing negative talk, negative thinking, negative worry, all of it. I just know I felt it, and it always crushed me. And when someone you love gets so disappointed in you, or someone that they take offense to something you say because everybody's in their issues or triggers, you will feel the thing that's repeating. Same old story, same old friend, same old thing. Not friend as in, hi, how you doing? But the thoughts become your friends. Oh God, I hate myself for doing this. Self-deprecating. When I heard that word, it was, wait a minute, why does that sound so weird? And my spirit, my soul says, well, why don't you look it up? Self-pity. Well, so I looked it up. I looked all these words up. And I thought, there's nobody really home. From time to time, I can feel when I've gone from negative to positive, and that didn't last long, or you're afraid if you stayed positive too long, somebody's going to knock it out of you. And I started noticing I just want to be happy. I'd be bouncing out in the room, chatting away, and somebody then has to dump their misery on me. And there was never a solution. It was, as soon as you gave one, they gave you a counterbalance. It's like, no, won't work. And this thinking, this negative thinking, this negative talking had a life of its own. And I thought, no, I need to find a solution, because they would drive me crazy. And they would say the same thing over and over, and that would motivate me to get up and take care of their needs. And I realized I was cued and and you're like, what? Or they would hint around and you're like, just talk to me directly. Use your words. And that's how I always grew up, is that these insecurities, that how we used to tiptoe around people that would just explode, blow. And I started noticing that their life wasn't getting any better because they kept talking negatively, the nocebo, that it's like there's something to this. So I did a lot of research and a lot of studying with a lot of wonderful people out there, that are before me, that would said, oh my God, what's this? What's that? And how does the brain function? And so the brain became something I was very fascinated with, and then the heart, and then it was like, oh, what? Thoughts are electrical and emotions are magnetic, and started diving into quantum physics and all of these wonderful things, and it's like, oh, I get it. We're constantly having a conversation with the quantum field, with consciousness. I'm just consciousness in form. I'm a soul and I'm a spirit that has chosen to play this part, named Brenda, and I'm doing the Brenda show. Hi. And it was great. Hi, Amber. Long time no see, hon. I was thinking about you a lot. I'm doing well. And when you think, who's listening? Sometimes we go in thinking so much, we don't pay attention to what we're thinking. We just follow the orders. And the orders come with emotions, the type of guilt, shame, all of those negativities. This is the kind of talk you're supposed to have, which creates the Nocebo effect, a negative effect, a bad effect, not a positive one. We'll talk 1 second and positive. We can feel it 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden our thoughts go over here, and then we go over there. You're just following thoughts. You're not directing. You're not healing. You're not doing anything. And a part of you needs to realize that you don't just have to sit there and listen to fear. And I thought, I don't want to create nocebo effects. I don't want to do that anymore because it does affect your health. It does affect you. And I'm like, I want to have a happy life. Well, why aren't you choosing it? Because. Excuses, reasonings, examples, proof, everyday pattern. And there it is again. There it is again. There's it again. I kept asking, how am I participating with this? And it was like, well, what mindset do you have? And so then I looked and I thought, what the heck? Why do I have a victim mindset? And again, you become the company you keep, and you see your inner world creates this outer world. And so who and what are the conversations that are around you? So what is your story? Now, deep down, there's some programs that are showing me that my father, my mother, my sisters, my old neighbors, the people that I was around that was most impressionable, or it could be just a brief second encounters of something that was very impressionable with your child's mind, because our cognitive skills don't start developing until later. You know, Pat, you they don't start. So 0 through 7 is what you want to pay attention to. And so last week I was looking at a pattern. You know, people are being them. And then I was looking at a pattern that of a feel nature, some sensation that occurs. And I'm like, I know this sensation. So again, I'm observing as my spirit self, my soul self. And what does it mean? Well, on a soul level, I'm going to take note of this feeling, not do the commentary, the narrating. I write down like just enough content. I don't need to run with it. I don't need to go in ballistics, say I have to feel it to heal it, right? Well, you do need to feel it to heal it, but not without a tool. Because if you're not holding this and the blood coming back up, then what you're doing is just intellectualizing it, but you're hardwiring your thoughts and keeping a deeper program, which causes you to have a more of a negative effect. And your brain gets worse, your body gets worse, your inner world, creature outer world gets worse. And people want out of that. And it's like, and people go like, well, you can't heal that. And then there's some people like, what are you talking about? What's healing to issues? Issues are every day. It's like, well, how do you approach them? So you're no longer on Facebook. Okay, cool. Yes. Hit like, subscribe. That way, you know that you can get this. Facebook, YouTube, and TikToks I'm on. So when you think about what is your daily issues and you can feel the fear, can you recognize when it's fear? Can you recognize when, thank you, can you recognize it? And if you do, who's looking at it? Because sometimes when you're looking at it, it's like you can't help but have it in front of you and you feel like you're trapped inside and you're like, oh my God, there's no money, I got no home, I've got this, I don't have this, I don't have that. So you get caught up in all the semantics and that are with the issue. And then the only outcome is fear because how am I going to survive? Now, that's a nocebo effect. I want you to become the placebo effect. I want you to become in charge. I want you to, okay, what's causing me to feel this way? Now, when we say what's causing me, we're looking outward, we're looking for that conclusion because that's what you've done. When you try to cope, handle, deal, pacify, and manage all of your issues as a kid. And what if you're left to your own devices and no one else? Then what happens? Oh, thank you for sharing. What happens is the simple, I just keep repeating what I know. I keep seeing and feeling what I know. It's familiar, it's comfortable. I don't like it, but it is. And this is what I'm doing. But I need you to wake up. So when I'm like, oh my gosh, I was thinking about my welfare, and you have to sometimes think about like getting a will and doing all these things. And immediately it was like, well, if I don't have a home, I can always live in my car. And then being in Michigan, it'd be like, oh my God, that's like the worst thing to do. But let me tell you, when I got here, started to travel with my husband, and his parents had passed, and before they passed, they gifted him their caravan, and we began to travel and live in our caravan, and it was like, oh, look how cute this is. Well, growing up in a trailer, you know, it's like, yeah, that was cute. Some of the homes are cute, some of the homes are gross, and trailer park stuff, all these things. And then this was cute, and it was tight and it was cute, but it was convenient when you travel. And so that got me hooked on watching YouTube shows of people that live in their caravan, have a caravan life. And um, one person is, two people, it can get awkward. But I've seen families living in these, given a choice that my home costs too much and I can't do this. So they would, have the caravan, or they would do whatever it needs to be. And I thought, I never thought of that. Again, it's a perspective I never thought of, because I grew up in a trailer park, and I just like, oh, I'm never going back to a small home. And so my mind was wandering based on my old experiences. And, I'm 57, and it's like, do you have a secure home? Do you have a job? Do you have something? And how do you take care of yourself? How do you do? And all these thoughts and worries would come up. And I remember my mother had them, a lot of them, and so did my family members. And I became that borrowed thinking. I says, well, we have to resolve to evolve. As I took and helped them, I realized that I just have to turn to my spirit, and I have to be present. So what am I thinking? Am I doing what do I call this? I know a lot of you have listened to me enough now. So once you drop and disconnect from that heart brain coherence, and you disconnect from your soul aspect, you can't hear the help that's being given. They won't force it upon you, but they'll give you ideas, joy, hope, peace, harmony, all of this. They will give this to you. But if you are going into that lower frequency, you can't hang out into the upper frequency. So then if you follow it because you don't know the difference between you and your programs and these other things, then it becomes a problem. So somebody was worrying in my space, and my body was like going, worry. And the next thing you know, I'm morphing into worrying, and I'm sitting there, and I realized that I was thinking, but no one was home. And then I began to notice that what I was thinking, so I spiritually was home. Now I'm going to pay attention to that. So I wrote down the feeling, and I used the best words I could. See, I have this whole protocol sheet here that has tons of words on it, which help because we only use a few to really tell our story. And as I'm paying attention to this feeling, but why? Now I can measure this, but why? What caused that story? And it was my nocebo thinking about a situation. But the thing is that the situation was somebody else's. So I wasn't even mindful enough to stay in my own lane. The energies that started to match, I started to match, and it influenced me. And I was thinking that same way. Okay. It's like when in my old days, it was I would be positive, I'd just have class, I'd be teaching, and then I'd come home and be in that space. And then everybody in that household would be in their spaces and with their needs and their whatever going on. And what part or role am I supposed to play? So then I would be pulled down from that happy place into that crappy place. And I felt like I had no control. So emotions are sensations of an experience, those live experiences. So as I started to study further about the cell and finding out the cell is controlled by receptors or chemical peptides. And so this is the key that goes into the cell, starts it up, and tells the cell how to behave. So if you have pain in the body, you take an aspirin, and that key will go over and says, I'm an aspirin, goes into that cell and then controls that cell. And same for morphine and codeine and any of that. But so does every negative emotion. So does every positive emotion. It doesn't fit every cell, but there are certain cells that have. So let's say this is joy, and yep, nope, this cell don't have it. And then all of a sudden it comes by and goes, oh, this cell has it. Goes in, locks in, and starts it up. But if you, as the operator, are listening to the feelings, because you will feel first and think later because you have aged, or the feeling of the environment and you're responding. You have to become that spiritual soul. You have to be paying attention to the thoughts without judgment, but with discernment. When you begin to feel the emotions, don't follow, just stop and listen and respond accordingly. So I'm beginning to feel that this was fear, and under fear is anything that's negative. And so it wasn't love, it was fear. And it was all these learned behaviors that are coming to the surface that no longer serve, but they need catalysts from the outside. And your soul's going, as soon as you go, oh my God, your soul's going, can you heal it now? Did you see all of this? You can stop it. I know you can. Here's the knowledge, here's this and that. And yes, I paid attention. And I was able to measure that I would feel like helplessness. But is it true as I look around, instead of going into that story and into the past and putting it in my future, and is it true I'm really helpless? And so when I started to understand this, they used the physical aspect. So I would flipping through channels, and all of a sudden there's a person, a wonderful being, is a wonderful motivational speaker, and for some reason I can't remember his name, but he has no arms, legs, and he has like a little foot. And Spirit said, "So are you really helpless physically?" No. So it's untrue. Yes. And the success, and I love Special Olympics because these are people that are proving to the world they can do amazing things. And that became the mindset of, why am I in self-pity? Why am I self-deprecating? Why? And I never got to develop good, healthy self-esteem. So I had to go on the adventure of what that looked like. So I'd say, show me. Thank you, Spirit. And then I would see people that had really good self-esteem, but had insecurities. I seen people, so it was fake. It was a show. Then I seen people that didn't have insecurities, but had wonderful self-esteem. And I'm like, what did I notice in common? That they didn't attach themselves to a particular outcome. They just looked and thought, yeah, I don't have to feel that. I don't have to do that. I don't have to be that. So self-improvement is such a importance. So I come here and I help teach people. And Nocebo Effect, living in the negative aspect of the negative thinking or with your negative life, you can be positive all you want, but if you believe in all of that, yeah, I love watching because Jesus, it's like I look at myself going, and your excuses? I believe in bullshit. That's what I'm believing in, the Nocebo Effect. And I thought, whoa, 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 whoa. So they are great inspiration. So I asked Spirit, what's the catalog of life? And as they showed me, this is what you're looking at today. I'm looking at this catalog. Well, I don't want to look at this catalog. Well, then turn the channel or get off Facebook or, just don't keep following. One of the things about society or the social media is it taught us that we have algorithms. That would have never been in our vocabulary, but it's a great word. What are you attracting into your life? So, as I would be in the negative effect, I would write it down and I'd listen to the story. And I noticed the trigger. So, if somebody's in a shit show or needs to communicate or needs to dump, there's a difference between let's be friends and we had an issue and let's work it out. Both sides are right, both sides are wrong, both sides need to understand each other's perspective. And it can turn into a drama. What I learned is that if I'm sitting there going, oh, God, I'm annoyed by how they behave, I'll turn around and I will take and measure how I know I'm annoyed about that behavior. So I will take the emotion and the content, and then I'd measure it. And I'm paying attention to the sensations, and I'm choosing not to respond, jump, run, being stressed 24/7 and following it and then getting fed by the you heard the two wolf stories, and I'm feeding the positive one. But in this case, I'm going to stand back and say, notice what I was feeling that's feeding the negative one. So I'll stop and I'm like, okay. And I've learned that I can put the blood back into my forebrain, help the blood go back into my organs because the visceral nerves will pull it out and run it into the fight, flight, freeze. And you can change this. It's measurable. And so as I began to go, oh my God, and I began to heal it out, my inner world would create an outer world and change the catalog for the better. Because I'm choosing not to attach to it, bring everything with all these quantum field of options that are endless, and choosing one which is negative, which lowers my frequency and causes a negative nocebo effect. I'm healing my thoughts that say that guilt and shame is on the lower hertz, Hertz, which creates hertz, Hurts, hertz. But I will measure and I'll sit there now. This is a simple one, OMG. And once you get to know me, I'm all about healing tools, and I will help you and guide you to learn how to change this. And as you're in this effect and you're doing knee-jerk response, instead of stopping, measuring it, healing it out, getting it to zero and saying it's there, it's there. Oh, wait a minute. I understand it, but it doesn't have, it's there that it controls me, takes room and, lives in my head. I don't have to have that. And so you balance that brain, you balance these thoughts, and you're able to see something greater than you could see before. So you're looking with your soul. And it helps you, your soul goes, hey, excuse me, can you heal this now? We've been waiting. And I began to notice what was I just thinking that made me feel oomph, that made my cells turn into a negative effect. Oomph. Hi, Sandra. And it was like, what is this? So I didn't follow it. I observed. I observed with my spiritual self. And as I observed with my spiritual self, I said, oh, it's a number. It's a 10. It's there. It's there. And there could be that I can feel it there while I'm looking here. And so I'm looking inside, I'm looking where my aura field, my chakras and everything, where it sits. And then it's like, well, I don't want this anymore. So then I learn how to use the body to get proof that it has shifted. Thank you for gifts, tapping the screen. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Really do. Thank you for giving back. Let's keep this energy exchange. It up. Thank you. And if I've never read you before, then I will give you a free reading. It's hard for me to see from a distance, but that's okay. If I haven't, like I said, I'll give you one. So these nocebo effects. So I was like, me and my husband were sitting and watched. I said, this is the problem. Nobody really gets educated anymore. Hi, Devin. Yes, I turned stuff around. I'll tell you that in a moment. Thanks for noticing. And I allowed myself to become the observer without judgment, meaning I'm discerning. Is this positive or negative? Is this pulling me or creating? It's not that, oh, I need my needs met and I'm going to follow with that and I'm just going to chase it down and then be in fear. And no, I don't want you to be a program. I don't want you to feel that you have to always be in survival mode. I want you to stop, pull yourself back, take care of the emotions, in which you can do with many tools. Clear your mind and say, thank you, Spirit. Show me in the quantum field something greater than this. I want to become greater than my old personality. I want to succeed. I want to. And it's like, I am. And as I'm beginning to do this, and which leads to the energy of the planets of everything. And it was like, oh, this is that what was working no longer works, is my thing in my life. So there's a lot of resets, a lot of cleaning, a lot of changing. It's not every day, but I sit and I'm like, okay, this room doesn't work anymore. And I can let it get on my nerves. I could try to control it, or it can try to control me. So I'm sitting there going, no, this room has to begin to fit me again. What does that look like? Well, I knew I needed more space so I could exercise in here, stretch, and do all of that. So I sat in Vision Reality, MWS, Medicine Woman Soultion's Vision Reality, and I expanded the walls. I expanded and rearranged in my mind. And I just kept sitting in that field of the seventh plane, looking at everything and not going, oh, this would be better here. I didn't let my ego take over. I let myself just sit there. And the next thing you know, I'm watching how these pieces are moving. Oh, won't fit. Go back. Oh, what if we do this? And I can't tell you, I didn't throw anything away. But I have now arranged it where I have this, everything fits. Everything fits. Nothing's really in front of anything except for that. It's just that it has a door, and because I live with somebody else, I want them to have comfortability. So I was considerate of their needs as well. And I know that looks funky on these cameras, but looks great on this main camera here, which is on YouTube. And I have to say, of course, I have to have all these little hopes all over the place. Screen here. And still have the clocks. I found that majorly important when you're going back through your old videos. So I sat in the energy of feeling with my gut, feeling with my spirit, my heart, brain coherence. Will this fit? It may look good, but does it energetically fit? And instead of sitting in my ego going, oh man, that's heavy. Oh man, I got to take all that down and put it back. I became mindful of my bitching in my head, that complaining, that dreading, and say, wait a minute, these programs are not supporting what I have that I want to do. So I may stop and I may heal. I did that in the past. I didn't really have to do it this time because the program had changed. And so now every part of me is saying, we're in agreement and we're going to move forward. And this is what we're doing. And so some things I can rearrange, but I couldn't rearrange it until I've done more. So I started to slowly pivot everything, so I took some things out, and the next thing you know, I've now brought in things that I can use. And it's like, wow. So I can get to every area. Like I said, I have a lot of hopes. You can't see it, but behind this one, there's a lot of hopes too. I still wanted the Phoenix because that's what you are. You are putting to bed or dying off, which is all about transformation of these old programs, which is transforming out the negative chemical peptides. Do I still getting the board? Oh, my phone just died over on the other side. Yes, getting the board you talked about before. I still am saving money. So one of the, my phone overheat. Yeah, it did. Okay, so my doctor account I lost. Well, normally I like to tell people, oh, my battery. I forgot to charge my phones. I moved everything around. I forgot to plug them back in. And so this has no, even though it's plugged in, oh well. I'm hoping Willow comes over here and looks for, find me over here. So the board, yes, I want to. So I do have, right there is the chalkboard, or the dry erase board. And so I do have it set up so I can always still teach. And eventually I will get a better board. But I budget for that. Yep. Yep, Devin, that my phone went dead because I forgot to charge it. But it's charged. I mean, it's charging now. The cord is just taking forever. That's why I say if you can't find me there, you can always find me hopefully on the doctor account and or as YouTube or Facebook. Being that said, you have to follow the energies with your spirit, becoming more your soul, becoming a spiritual human. And a lot of people don't understand what that means. Hi, Gazelle. Hi. I don't have to do the human thing. Nobody's home, have to follow the drama, have to be persuaded and be influenced by the negative stuff or how I grew up, have to have somebody come in and parent me. I don't have to have, I have autonomy. I have sovereignty, the ability to govern myself. And it's not that I had to fight for it. I had to dismantle these negative emotions, these chemical peptides that kept telling me that I have to have the same story. I get to have the same thing. And it's like, no, I don't. So what are the issues? And for me, it's not that I have issues. It is I am growing and this has got my attention today. Does it deserve me to go in a program or does it need me to be in my higher self and just participating with it, looking for the answers? So we had to go get a car because our other one, I mean, Toyotas, this isn't an ad, but the Toyotas, oh my God, coming from America and then coming over here and then having a Toyota versus all the other kind of car makers I've had. Jesus, they have focused on quality in their name. So this car, we decided we're not going to put any more money into it, but it still runs. But I would like to have an air conditioning, and the door handle broke and we didn't want to fix it. And then the radio, we couldn't figure that out. And it still runs. We just couldn't figure out the code because when the security alarm thing went off, it dismantled the radio and the code. Well, mom and dad didn't remember the code, and then they passed. And I looked, and I wasn't going to pay. I just like no air, no radio. Doors, that the car run great. Probably needs a new muffler. But it was like, okay, he has a brand new battery or brand new tires. And then it was like, all right, we do need to stop thinking that we have to live this way. So it's like me and my husband sat down. Okay, we're going to start manifesting a better vehicle. Not brand new, but a better vehicle. So the spirit had and my husband did all the research of what kind of car. So we sat down and he hammered out a lot of the details. We watched some videos about the differences of what our needs were. So we came together. This is what we want. And so we then said, we went in the car. Now we got to find the car. And then we found the name of the car. And then we had to go on a search of color and all this other stuff that could support us. And so we went down that trip and we researched it. So it can be very stressful because, you want it done. Well, you may not like to wait. Well, you got to heal that. There's Willow. Yes, my phone died. So I can't get on my other account, which is okay. Well, we decided to go white because in Australia the heat is terrible and we don't want it to destroy our car, or the interior, anything. So we ended up getting a pearl color, which was, I had members saying years ago, well, if I get white again, it's going to be pearl. And I didn't realize that until, because we saw a bluey purple, which of course I would have taken a heartbeat, right? But mm, this, me and my husband, we looking for the third option, so neither one of us has to compromise. And so we're looking, and I found a red one, and it was going to be great, and then all of a sudden it was no, don't like the dealers, the people that were selling it, because there was one, then it was another, and then they started ganging up on me, and I thought, you can't respect me, I'm not going to buy from you. So, and and you can't, when you're looking for used cars for the year you want and everything, they're far in between. And so they always like to use their duressing, their bullying. Well, the car's not going to last long. You better buy it now. And let's get here. Let's walk over and sign the papers. And you're like, Jesus. Um, so I said, show me. So I traveled to many, many car lots, and I said, show me the car. Show me who would be the best person to talk to. I want to have that relationship before I uh, proceed to buy, and ended up being in one of the cars that I had, car lots that was two options. And you know he was I was so hot that day, he ended up giving me water for free, and it was like talking to me. He didn't really think that I was going to buy from him, so he didn't give you that full attention, but he wasn't going to force me either. And then Spirit goes, I think he is the one. And I thought, yeah, but it doesn't agree with my husband, so this can't be. So I said, thank you, Spirit, let it go. Again, all of these trajectories. I want a pearl car that I may have said when I was in Michigan. I've been here 11 years. I've I've said I'd like to have something that's a little higher, not a great big van. So we got an SUV. Um, so I had put all these things out long ago. And then when it boiled down to it, after my husband did all this other work, and we said, okay, thank you, Spirit. And then we'd come together. Do we agree on this? Yeah. Okay. So now the next step happens. Well, this guy, he's like, once my husband says, okay, this, and this, I says, yeah. I says, then it would be these vehicles that I found at this other place. So he's like, okay. We ended up, I went back there again to, I can't remember if I went back by myself or I brought him. But it proceeded that we got a good deal. And at the same time, we wanted to get rid of the old car, but we didn't want to see it go to a junkyard because it still has a lot of life left into it. It's a great starter car. If my kids were here, I would have just said, here, have a car. But they're, and the next thing you know, he says, I might be able to sell that car to you for you. And I'm like, oh, commission, da da da. Do I want to have to go to the stress for all these months to figure out where, or sell it first privately, whatever? Next thing I know, he's telling us that he has a teenage girl and he doesn't want to get her a brand new car. So he wants her to have a starter car. And so I noticed how Spirit had me speaking to him and bringing up specific words. And I always sit back and I would hear him jump up. I'm like, well, why did I say that? And then it was because Spirit had matched me up with this person that was more than just one need. It was several things that was going to work. So the next thing you know, we bought the car. Now we have to wait for the cooling period and da 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 da. And before we really can say it's ours. And it's different than buying it from a private, which you can have immediately. But at the same time, I had put out there, thank you, Spirit, for selling the old car. Next thing you know, we got a new car and we sold the old car without really trying, as far as um, going through the stress, going through the adverse negative effects and any of that. It was, Spirit says, we got this. We're going to line it up for you. We're going to take care of many things all at once. Me and my husband going, that was nice. That was quick. That was stressless. Thank you, Spirit. I chose to be in a placebo effect, not wishful thinking. It's not, when you see hope, it's the light that says, you're in the dark. Come over here. Let's go. When the people say, don't go to light, they're like afraid that you'll die. And then the person behind is going to go, oh no. But you need to follow the light because it's the way out of the dark. So I always have hope. But if I'm using hoping in a negative sense, then I'm going to be stuck here because that's what it says to never get. But I hope and I follow the light and I'm looking for the alignment that can serve more than one purpose. I like things like that. It can serve more than one purpose. Is it a bench or is it a box to put stuff in? What is it for? Many different ways. Yeah, it pays to watch and listen and follow. And the thing is what mindset? Who are you? What are you being? And you have to decide who's home and listening. That's what I want to know. Who's home and listening? So we can start this day. Let me just see what we've got here. I know Amy's coming on. Again, this is your opportunity. If you want, you can pay 5, 15, or 25. And the 25 one allows you to either come on or just have audio or video, but it gives you the opportunity to communicate, and we can get things done faster. The chat is when we're in that space, and you're reading and I'm talking to you and you answer, but there's a time delay for that. Yep, got my passcode wrong. Try it again. So this is where, if you really can't afford me offline, this is where you can get as much as you can while I'm here. So I know Amy is coming on. So I'm just going to put video. We'll put Amy down. I see 2 more people that have participated. Pamela says, I have reading for Jen and me. Jen would like reading for why she's exhausted all the time. And then Spirit, okay, just what Spirit says for her. Wonderful, wonderful. So they paid for a chat. And so it goes Pam, Jen, and Jen. I'm just going to put the word exhausted. SP for Spirit. Okay, wonderful. Let's find out who the next person is. Autumn. Autumn wants also a form of a chat. It is the lesser, and so we're going to put Autumn. Just whatever Spirit wants. Okay, that sounds good. Sounds like you're devoting yourself, which is great. Devin says, I just wanted to say that my mom decided it was best to put our cat down last Thursday. She was 15. Oh, that probably is the humane thing to do. And one thing about when you are no longer in the physical form, your spirit constantly lives on. And when you live on, it's not just a memory. There is no pain and suffering for that animal or that individual, but you get to go off and have the joyful, loving experience. So because you're left behind, and because maybe it's a decision that you didn't want to be done, my heart is there for you. And all I can tell you is, if that's the case, I said, Spirit, what could you help? How could I help her? So what we're going to have you do is that, Davin, I want you to take your left foot, take a magnet, follow right there, that's the spleen point. Use your magnet 24 times, then deeply rub, okay? And that'll help the body. Because your mind might be okay, but the body's like, the finality of it all. Like when somebody's dead and you go to talk, shit, they're dead. Or you go to pet your, So the brain is trying to do its best to understand that the thing that it was there is no longer there. And it has all these memories and programs that's trying to insert that thing that's supposed to be there, that's not there. And you're like, oh my God. So we want you to rub that point And then we want you to be able to hold right wrist, second position, that's R2S, to sit in that position and go, to feel that finalization that, oh, I want to go tell my cat, oh, I can't. Now you can feel sad, and that's where the chemical peptides, and this is where growth it happens, it needs to happen. And what I do with my little gloves, got my other ones. Oh, I find that bizarre. I swear I thought I put them here, but I'm not seeing them. That means they're running around somewhere. Okay, no problem. I don't like these because they just don't hold. Oh, that's right. I washed my pair. I bet you they're hanging up outside. Still can see a little bit. Not good, but anyway, I need to get myself some tube socks to make more ones that actually work. So, autumn, sorry, Gavin, my heart goes out to you, babe. Oh, I wish I could take Venmo, but I live in Australia, which means I can only take PayPal at this time. I wish I could. I wish I can look into it again, but I remember how many times I've looked into it, and the only option that we have. But again, media can change, and so can Australia. Who knows? Who knows? Let's see what we've got here. Okay, I'm looking for. Oh, that's interesting. I got that same issue again. Pam. Pam says whatever spirit wants. Okay, what does spirit want? Now, there is some cloudy thinking is what came in. So cloudy thinking. And kind of define what that is. You're trying to think, but it just feels cloudy. I said, is that what you'd like to address? They go, no. What we'd like to address is that you're learning about certain emotions that have been in your space that is so normal, that you don't know it's there and it's causing the cloudy thinking. And so I said, is the cloudy thinking is a physical thing? They go, no, it's not like food or medicines or allergies or any of that. So I said, so what is this cloudy thinking? It's in the emotional body. And it has to do with the second chakra about relationships. Okay. So in the second chakra, the information from the outside is instructing you to be in cloudy thinking. Is this more of a symptom? No, it's about how you do anything is how you do everything. So it's how people will say, do, and be that will cloud your thinking. So you have to, what I refer to as, keep them around the homestead. So it's a communication process, and they will communicate and you'll communicate, and this is how you end up responding. And the body is like, well, this is the social skills, this is what we have to do. Now I'm looking, they're pointing right over to the triple warmer. They said that as the energy enters the space, so who has been gaslighting you? I says, was it yourself? Was it somebody else? They said it's a way that relationships. So it's not just the outside, it's about how your relationships have been formed. And it's so familiar to be so familiar to feel this communication, which is invading. So how do I explain this to you? It's like, imagine the salesperson and they really want to sell this particular thing. So they have to become your best friend. They have to be nice to you. But once the sale's done, they want nothing to do with you. Okay. So people use certain skills to get what they want. Or if you don't do sales, communication. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. I want this outcome really bad. And you're supposed to do this to people so that you can live. That's how, but you are going, I am a spirit that is awaking and I want more to life. And so spirit is saying it's important to now look at the mirror before you, which is how did people communicate? How are people communicating? How are you doing it? So they're saying the thing is to become aware, and it's not to hate a person. It's just no longer do you need to have to fall victim to or keep up doing this. You're just going to end up stopping and go, wait a minute. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So somebody wanted me and my husband to go on vacation with them. They didn't ask directly. They threw it out. It was a great idea. They got us drunk and then they were like, yeah, do it now, do it now. And then before you know it, you're doing it now because there's a certain amount of looking at the two people and going, how can you influence them? Who's weaker of the two? Or love would always be presented to me and convinced me. And I had to heal out love, you know, I had to heal out the love feeling. And so this can get me caught up into social skills when it came to salespeople. So I had to become fully aware that the niceties doesn't mean I have to be on the backside looking with great judgment. It is how do you be real? So someone is saying that the relationship, so you have to show up a certain way and so do they. So let's say this is you. Okay, so she's showing up as they're saying auto response. So this means that you go right into an auto response, a certain personality with this particular person. And if you were going to become awakened to how this relationship between you and them are, there's a certain amount of timidness that is part of the program that you don't even know. I don't even feel like timid. What are you talking about? But they want you to wake up as a soul. Now, when you show up the way they want, so how is it that you're supposed to show up? You're supposed to show up as trusting them. And they are showing up as this particular gaslighter that they're saying, I'm important. So they may whine, complain, moan, and say all these things. I'm important. I need this done, blah, blah, blah. They need to get their needs met. And you're like, all right, I'm the woman for the job without realizing it. Because I feel like you were trained with that frequency that you are conditioned to always to show up to this person. Okay, so what does this mean? Means that you have to pay attention to what are the same words, what are the same emotions, what is the same ploy, what is the same things that are happening. And when you're like in the space of joy and all of a sudden they do that, how you shift. You got to pay attention to how you shift. And you start to accommodate or to do as they wish without knowing it. They said if you can become aware. Now, see, is what would I help her do so she can become aware? They said R2D. You have to do right wrist, second position deep, because you're meant to notice. You have to define now what is peace? What is my peace? And how do you know when it's gone? How does it get gone? Is it around certain people, certain language? You begin to pay attention. They said that there is a fractured part of you. And fractured means there's certain parts of you that had to experience something while other parts of you didn't. Okay. So you have this fractured part, and this fractured part says, I'll take the blow. When the outside is being broadcasted, all this stuff happens. But this one gets forced into action to doing what they want. So what you're going to do is that as you begin to notice, I don't want to show up loyal, obedient, blind servant. I want to show up as my spiritual self. Okay. And then to do that, you have to start to notice the pattern. Okay. And to change that scalar field, you're going to have to sit there and pay attention to. I can see it. Once you do, and even before you can do that, we're going to help break up that relationship that magnetically says, this is how I have to act. Are you following along? Okay. What I want you to do is you're going to take, we have to help your safety, security, stability, those successes. You need to go down both sides, left and right. You're going to use your magnet or your hand, and then you're going to rub 30. So 24 and then 30. So spleen, okay, big toe right there. This is huge because this pattern, once you do that, it's going to change it. Now you're going to think fractured self, and then you're going to push it and rub, okay, after you've done the magnetic self. Because this habit you're constantly pulling in, pulling in, pulling in, you are demagnetizing. It's like reset, not really going back to default. It is resetting so that you can be more your spiritual self and go, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't have to follow this. Now, that particular emotion is, can you understand when your piece is gone and how your body's screaming as you're doing it? No, 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 I'm not doing this again. No, 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 I can't do this. No. But yet your body and every part of you is like, oh, here I go again. To break up this relationship, because it's a strong one, is that you have to reset it. So once you start taking care of those emotional chemical peptides and becoming aware of when your piece is gone, you can go, oh, I don't have to fall for that because that's part of your lesson. I hate to see this worse than what you have. So as you heal this, what does it do to you in this person? It starts setting the tone that's differently so that they don't always have to say, this is how you have to be in the relationship. You get to be in charge and say, without knowing it, your spirit's going to go, no, this is how it's going to go. And then you both can grow together or grow apart. But you don't have to keep repeating. It's breaking the cycle of this program. That's what this is. And after you do this, you have to understand that when you go to work with this fractured part, you're going to start with your left and then your right. And it is that point where you file these two fingers and you're going to use a magnet on it, left side first. And then once you do it 24 times, you rub 30. Then you do it on your right. This one will seal this issue. This program will come back together where all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got to stay fractured. No, you need to stop, become that soul and say, okay, fractured self. Okay, fractured self, fractured self. And then do both sides. It starts changing the history. So you as a soul can go, and then as you say, thank you, Spirit, you're downloading to help integrate that fractured part. Okay, so like for instance, your fractured part has a lot to do with 7 years old. Not sure what's happened then, but this is a lot of detail, but it's a lot of waking up. That's what you're doing. All right, now we're going to go over to Miss Jen O. Is Jen O here? Jen O. I'm on the screen here. So I wait for her to come in real quick. See if then after that will be Autumn, and then we'll go to Amy. Try to turn that on. This one you're going to have to probably re-listen to all again and again so you can really get the steps. I've noticed there's something going on with my skin, my energy. There's a lot of allergies or so going on. I noticed that both me and my husband have had like this autumn's coming, fall, and the frequencies are just different over here. Frequencies are just different over here. And I'm looking for Jen O. There she is. Lots to do. You're welcome. Spirit says you asked, you receive. So you must have been asking. Let's see who else is. It has not come through yet. So let me just hit this. I wait for it to catch up. And here it comes. And so Amy showed, chat first. Chat. So Gazelle, as Gazelle here. I will get to you as long as you know that you have one from Amy. So right now, Jen, the body is saying, my sinuses, whatever. So the body. So what body, talk to me. Why is you responding this way? And it is this coercing. I can always feel from the environment, I got to behave. There's something to fear. Oh, here you're complaining at me. Oh, the criticism. So the body is saying that. I said, is it 24/7? They're saying yes, but it's basically, it has to do. What are you trying to tell me? We're looking at 13 years old, very specific. So one of the things I didn't get to say in my intro was that I had to go back to my age of my 46-year-old self. And it was a very specific experience. And so they're saying you don't have to go anywhere except for this very specific experience, that this is the whisper. And this 13 apparently was like a bitch slap for you. And it's saying it has a lot to do with how the influence of coercing you, it can be done with love, but getting you to do things you don't want to do. Church, religion, the right thing to do. And it's forcing you. You'll be punished if you don't. Okay. So you have to pay attention to this. Do you understand? You have to pay attention. I'm going to see if there's a response first. I need you to be on the same page with me. And Vicky, yeah, wonderful. We got you down for a chat. Okay. Yeah, I immediately heard target. I got to work on that for you, Vicky. All right, so I don't know. Hopefully Jen is thinking it through. If you are looking, and this is the way the world is, black and white, white and black. I feel like these are the junior high years. I feel like this is where the hormones come in. And I feel like you're like, Barbies are done. Now we're talking about sex. And it's like, no. No. I said, if that has to do it, they said, yeah. Hey, you're like, no, I'm doing the right thing. No. And I feel like this is, did your parents, my body is, did your parents put in a lot of fear into you? Or did the church, did somebody say that sex was bad? Oh, you might get pregnant. Oh, you might get an STD. Was it the school itself? Because shocking. Okay, so I remember looking at my friends, and I saw this even with my daughter as well, and a couple of my other friends. They're looking. And what does this mean? It's like, see, yours don't see it because you're saying no. Was not big into religion. Yes, would be seventh grade. But your friends are doing things that you thought your friends would never do because it never crossed your mind that you're going to do them. This was like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And you have to wake up in this perspective. I remember going, oh my God, that scared the crap out of me that I found out my friend at age 12 had sex. Well, sex back then was that he touched her part, not with his, penis, but with, his fingers. But that was still scary because that was private. And it was horrifying for me because in my mind, I've already had been molested and incest, that it was like, that scares me. I don't cross this line. In high school, they did not think that young. Okay, so I'm not sure how this is going to help you because this is a perspective that's important to see. If you have only seen that, no, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. If you only seen black or white, if you're only seeing one side, you're not going to be able to see the perspectives of understanding. So we're looking for an experience. I said, have you had the experience where it was shocking? And this is where they're saying, you know, were you afraid? Friends did, but not into that. Okay, again, okay. Neither was I. And I'm like, they're doing that. This is what's being expected. My God, were they? No. And I would pull myself back and I'd say no. And I pull myself back, but there was a certain amount of fear. Amber says, I do believe that's what she's saying. Your friends were doing it, but you weren't ready. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And you could be appalled. You could be shocked. I said, so what was these feelings? And a lot of it was this silent brooding. I can't believe you did that. Why would you do that? You may not say it out loud. I'm not going to let them do that. I can't. And so I'm asking Spirit right now, was there a parental, or was it a TV show, or was there this teaching from school? But either way, it's like, I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want that to happen to me. Okay. See, this is where you're not seeing the see, you just assume that you were happy and that you worked and that you never had a negative thought or you never was fearful. And the fact is they're saying, this is what you have to wake up to. Your soul is saying you've had experiences that you're not aware of. Your soul is saying, I have the gift of awareness. Just like how Pam and everybody else here, you have to become aware of the experiences or become aware of the journey you may be on. But if you're saying, I'm not doing that, or, oh my God, I don't want to be pregnant at that age, or, yeah, if there's an attitude, was there any condemning? Was there any, I mean, you're saying that you were just so nice. Oh, that's good for you, blah, blah, blah. But there's something there. Do you understand? I did have a best friend that did 10, 11. I could not believe, this guy told her lies. Good, good. Shock with about society, social skills. When you begin, so I'm going to run with this. Can we take this one to help? They said, not really. Yes, okay, they're going to work with it. Deficient. I feel deficient. I'm not ready. Is it like the same thing with my kid? Okay. So when I was in third grade, and I had a boyfriend, and his name was Tony, and he had a birthday party, and everybody in class got to go. And now again, he didn't know about my history, didn't tell anybody about nothing. We went to all of us went to his house, and I heard rumors that he was going to get his first kiss, and it was going to be in the barn. My nightmare, I broke up with him right then and there, based on how fearful I was that this type of kiss, without knowing it was just a kiss, it was what I experienced or my fear of that it could happen again. And so I just like, no, I'm not going to be that kind of girl. But I'm also not going to put myself in that situation ever again. I swore to it, you understand? So when the shock that your friends are doing it, oh my God, there can be this, well, I'm not doing it. You're not going to make me do it. There is a certain amount of talk. Yeah, see, you backed away from her. But you're asking me to step up. I can't do it. So it's like when I was little, watching my mother, the father gone, having to go out and get a job, taking care of 5 kids, bringing in the money, having to work and having to sleep and having to take care of the kids. Watching all of this, that I don't want to do that when I grow up, as I stated as a child. And that scares me. And I would hear horror stories about going out there and having to get a job. And then my mother would complain about having a job or having to work and how stressful it is to pay the bills and all of this and the Nocebo effect, that I became afraid of out there. And so I had all these misconceived notions about out there. And I didn't pick up on the fact that she had to resolve and figure out how to take care of us 5 kids. Um, I had no idea till I went through that. So for me, I had to heal deficiency, that I don't want to go to work because in my child's mind, that meant I can't have a life with my mom. She has to go to work. I can't have a life, or it scares me. Maybe she'll never come home. So I had to face and see how I felt deficient. And as I remember graduating at 17, and I'm in the parking lot with my cap and gown on as I'm going to my mother's car. I turned back and somebody says, "Hey, Brenda," and they took a picture of me, and then they sent me the picture, old way, delivering it as a photograph. And I have that look on my face. I mean, you wouldn't see it, but I know exactly what I felt that day. And I remember going, "Oh my God, I got to go out there now." And the fear that I'm going to fail, the fear was so tumultuous that I believed its lies. And it started to hoard me off. And that, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get a job I hate. I'm going to have to be miserable. I'm going to have to waste my life working. And oh my God, I'll never be able to make enough money to take care of the kids. And I'm thinking, but I didn't have kids, but I didn't realize that my thoughts were wrapped up as my mother's. So you were looking through your face. What are you talking about? No, I need you to really find that resonating experience where, oh my God, I got to go out and work. Now this is going to make you go forward where you did work and you feel like you couldn't work or didn't want to work. You're going to feel the deficiency. There's a deficiency that I don't want to do this. See, this goes with your reading last week, or it was in tribal or whatever, but it's connected to that. If you understand, each of these readings are going to connect you, but you first have to face it and realize it. So I guess what we're going to have you do is have you do R2D and go, I don't know what the hell she's talking about. Or I kind of do, but I want you and spirit, because your spirit is teaching you. And so when you begin to take this layer off, the very experience you're meant to feel will start to appear. You start to pull these back, because our parents are awesome. Life was great, but nobody remembers these experiences you picked up. And I'm not asking you to go into trauma. And that would be stupid, because you would be intellectualizing it and then your brain would get all bad, and then I'd be doing you a disservice. What I'm saying is that I want you to be able to heal this, observe as you're watching the programs come up, the emotions come up, all these things come up. And I want you to go, oh, become aware of what you're seeing. As you become aware of what you're seeing, I want you to find the experiences, because it's going to tell you that you have felt like you're completely deficient of life force. Life force is about the kidneys. You're going to restrict, and remember that you need to turn this on so you can get all of the different answers from the quantum field besides the one you have chosen, which is to be in fear. And fear becomes this friend, and it convinces you that it's there for you if you hold on to this fear. But you've been finding out that it's been destroying your body. Okay. I spent a little bit more time on that. Thank you, Spirit, for balancing that out for me. So thank you, Pam, for gifting that to Jen. We really appreciate that. We're going to go over to Autumn, Miss Autumn, Vicky, and then Giselle. Autumn. So Spirit, oh, I feel like you should be doing something for your liver. I'm having a hormonal flash. Not the same as to say, your liver does a wonderful thing. A person that could drink beer it can make their liver off balance, and you can have hormonal flashes, make you tired. The liver is saying it needs help. I'm feeling my body. Hi there, Ernie. I'm feeling my body going, I need some help. So there's I can't remember what the one thing is. I may show it in Tribal tomorrow, but it has all like 10 or 12 herbs in it. And it detoxifies the kidneys and it detoxifies the liver. And how does it detoxify? Is that it helps the body, it supports those organs and to clean out. The one thing that my naturopath gave me was something to do. It's called P2, but it's a detox, and it's like broccoli sprouts type things. I can't remember what's in it. I can't remember the name of it. But what it does is it helps balance out your liver so it can clean the blood so that the body can be supported. Immediately, the body is like going, it's not about water in this case. So you got to find something to help with that liver. Okay. And on top of that, they're saying that the liver has a lot of silent brooding in it. And the silent brooding is made up of the lies that you were given as a child as parenting advice. And the way that your liver is saying is that I lack power. So you have a strong belief of, oh, I lack power. I can't do anything about it. I lack power. Just simply, I lack power. I want to get in a new place. I have to fight. I have to maneuver. I have to do this. I lack power. But then you're like, no, I don't. I'm going to outmaneuver. I'm going to outdo this and all of that. Is it true? So old way of, I don't lack power, but the program is saying, oh my God, I can't change this. And your talk and your flippant speaking is probably saying, oh my God, I can't change this. If that's the case, then I want you to do right wrist, second position. Is that the one you want? Oh, you're going to give two. Right wrist, second position, deep. Okay. R2D. And then the other one is right wrist, first position. Hold on. What are you telling me? You're telling me that energy is in that? Okay, so you're going to go left wrist, second position, deep. It says change their mind. Scratch that. So it's left wrist, second position, deep. Okay, that lie. Oh my God, I can't do anything. You were convinced you couldn't do anything because that's what they told you. Now you're looking outside and going, oh, I can't do anything about it. I lack power. Okay, but that's the lie. Then you're going to go over to right wrist, first position deep, and silently brood about, I lack power, and I'm looking around and judging my situation, and nothing's effing changed. Okay. It could be med withdrawals, exactly. For that first part, I would say yes. So the body needs you to give it some type of stuff for the liver. Uh, Remind me, I will show you. You may not be able to find it over there, but you may be finding ingredients, equivalency of what you have in the United States. Okay, all right. Now we're going to go to Vicky and then Giselle. Vicky, you have a target. Do you ever feel like there's a target on you, or that you are? It's not just even on your back; it's a target. Vicky, are you here? I'm not sure which screen. I did get into doctor account, so let you know that, or the Medicine Woman Soultion account. So if you haven't had a reading from me before, you can have one now, or you can pay. You can go ahead and pay, and we'll go there. I tell them to take PayPal. Come over to YouTube, and so you can rewatch it again if you get a reading. Do not see Vicky. I'm not sure what screen she's on. As soon as I locate her, Vicky. Well, after Vicky will be Giselle, which I think is that screen there. Looking, I do readings. I do help you see what your soul wants you to look at. All right, so Vicky, somebody keep an eye on Vicky. Tell her that Oh, Vicky YouTube, I think. Yeah, I don't see her. So hopefully she'll come on. I will go right to Giselle and then I'll come back to Vicky. Okay. Giselle, was there anything specific you wanted me to look at? What your soul may want you to know? Is there anything specific? Is there anything specific? Let me look. Whatever you, okay. All right. All right, spirit. Okay, Giselle. I got mixed up words going on in my head. I heard YouTube, bubblegum chew. I'm like, what? And I said, you got this running through my head. And it's like some of the stuff that's there is just excess. It doesn't need to be looked at. So do you have a lot of thoughts that come in your head that you feel are excess? And, you're like, Jesus is an old over stupid things like songs or whatever, just stuff. It's like your mind constantly is running. And you're like, when you paid attention, you look and you're like, seriously, that's what I'm thinking? Ah. Oh, so you understand what I'm saying? Okay. What I'm seeing is this, okay, is you can vividly recall. So do you have good memory recall? Can you remember everything? Yeah, the reason I say this is because they're pointing that you've had to do this. You had to recall and remember everything to stay safe. You've had a very controlled, so was your life being controlled by another? Because it's like I have to be it's not even about high alert. I have to pay attention to everything so I can recall it when it's necessary. Does this make sense to you? Okay. So what I'm looking at is how there's a lack of power, how the outside. So yes, it does. Okay, so all of your energy right now is, I said, is that thought, those things have to do with survival mode. Yes. And it came about when you're about 5 years old and you felt very deficient. You hated that feeling to the point where you could, I got to solve it. So you looked at with your own devices about whatever happened at 5, I'm going to do this. And so it worked for you then, but now it's kind of being a hindrance now because it's using like excess energy. And what happens is that you can't help but feel, and they're using the word object, either being treated like an object or noticing there's a lack of empathy that you just like, I'm doing what they taught me, which was to treat others with that. Do you understand? Because it's about being very suspicious, which takes up a lot of energy. And I feel like whatever happened at 5, if they can give me any clue of what's going on, is just that they're saying this is a third chakra issue, which is your will to do things was compromised. And I said compromised in a bad way. They said you took on that I have to act like one of my parents or both. So you took on the behavior, whether you had to grow up real quick or you just figured that's the only way to solve an issue. And overwhelm. And was anybody in your house growing up very overwhelmed? Very overwhelmed? And that overwhelm would cause you to feel very like somebody was taking the energy away from you. My parents. Okay. And you could feel not placed upon you, but you just feel drained. And so, in order to help, you memorize certain things so that you would be like the little missing link. Okay. To make sense of your world, to make the overwhelm that's going on there, to make sure it doesn't hurt you, you would be able to pull from here. Okay. At the same time, you used to escape. This is why I was like, YouTube, oh, bubblegum chew. It was like, fill that space, not with their overwhelm, but with something else so that I don't have to keep doing this. And they're saying the fear that if I don't behave, are you a people pleaser? Were you? If I don't behave that certain way of surviving, then I'm not going to survive. So when you go to tell the feelings or the truth as you see it, they are going to take, is it true that they'll take offense and turn it around, and we've got to sit down and have a conversation? And, like they have to, I don't even know if they would sit down and have a conversation. It's just that you would have just set off World War III. So you would have to take a breath in and to see if you can survive that moment. Does this make sense, Giselle? Because I feel somehow this is also connected to Jen O with her exhaustion. You got to keep this survival mode up because you never know if it's going to set off World War III. She said yes, 100%. Jen O, are you paying attention? Because I really feel this is also connected to your exhaustion. Okay. So it's like, okay, we're going to help you understand this. So you have what is connected to an engram. An engram is everything equals everything. So if you fall and you're unconscious or whatever, everything will equal things. So you will hear it, see it, feel it, all of this, but it will equate to one thing. And I said, what does it equate to? Hysterical. So if you do you feel like you have to be on eggshells, or do you have to be the good girl and dare say anything? Don't you dare smirk? Don't you dare you are equating that somebody's going to go into their hysterical moment, and it's like now as you're older and you want to talk and communicate in a relationship, you won't want to hurt their feelings because whoever you're with is super sensitive, and then they will feel like you're deliberately out to get you, and or you're out to get them, and you're like, that's not, I just wanted a relationship. Okay. So you are going to have to stop living in regret. It's like people make you constantly freaking live in regret 24/7 just because you're like, you feel slighted and you kept it to yourself. And as soon as you do the same thing to somebody else, they feel slighted, they attack. And you're like, so they want you to know that it's like a territorial issue. You can't have healthy boundaries because again, setting off World War III. I says, what do you want her to do? And they said, well, she needs to be able to get out of the arrested development because hysterical energies they're going to explode on her. So they said, that's what they want you to do is pay attention to, if I say anything, this could happen. If I do this, this could happen. And you know it so well because that always happened. And so you're going to go right wrist, second position, 1, 2, right wrist, second position, push and date. Finger in the palm, safety, security, stability. And I want you to sit there like this, and I want you to measure World War III. I want to measure that energy off that person that's going to go total hysterical because you told them that hurt your feelings, and they're like, what did I do wrong? And, they don't realize all of it. The right wrist second position, and you're like, oh my God, because you know that if you say anything, it's going to turn into this. That's what you measure. You got it? You got it? Okay. See, yeah. So now, Jeno, the thing is that you have to see something you can't see. So your exhaustion is that you're putting your life force into the same thing you don't know that you're doing again and again and again, and you're going to be exhausted because it takes a lot of work to maintain. It's a 9 right now. Okay, I'll sit here. You hold that point and come back in when you feel like you've got it down to 0, and we'll check. Let's see. Okay, Vicky, my phone went off when you started. Okay, so Vicky's here. So I'm going to make sure again Vicky is here before we go any further. Okay. Oh, I want to read Vicky next, but all of a sudden it's like, okay. All right, so Jeno, again, you don't realize that the reason you're exhausted, you could say it's the physical, but you're exhausted with this stress. Let's just explain this. Oh, there's Vicky. Vicky, I'll give you an extra minute or so, and let me just finish this with Jeno. This is like me and my husband getting ready to buy this car. So we knew we needed one. We just kept putting it off. And then when we did the research, it took us like a couple months. And every day it was very stressful because it's like, oh, we got to go research again. We got to go out and look. Why can't we just get this? La, 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 hearing the complaining. And it's just stressful. You're exhausted because you need kidneys. You haven't gotten your miracle yet, is to say, hey, I don't need kidneys. But then you have everybody else's opinion. You have everybody that has to go through their stress, and then they're letting you know about their stress to your stress, and then your stress is like, oh my God. And then you have to do this and this and that and go through all these hoops. It gets exhausting. Your job, there's a part of you that has flippant speaking. You may not even be aware that you are complaining. That's exhausting. So the reason I brought up Giselle was that somebody is telling you, and you can't just say and do what you want because they're going to explode. And it gets exhausting. If you say, I'm going to go out and do this, and somebody goes, well, that's stupid, that's wrong, I don't want you to, or that, no, you can't, it gets exhausting. It's very, very stressful. That makes sense? It's the anticipation. It is the waiting. It is carries it out. Oh my God. It's like taking a test, an exam on a Friday. You don't get your results back until like a week later. And you don't know. In the meantime, oh my God, I failed. Oh my God, the worst case scenarios. That's exhausting. Okay. And it's exhausting. Giselle's got to constantly know that it's like I've trained myself to know what to say, how to act and be. And sometimes even that doesn't work. They still blow up. Does that make sense? All right, Vicky, like I promised, I'll give you an extra minute or so. Vicky. I've been watching. Every time you're present, the same energy pattern keeps showing up. And I got to the point where it's like I watched and your attraction factor. Okay. This is what you're attracting in. And I'm like, this is your normal. Do you ever feel like you get a target on you? Does it ever feel like you go into a room and somebody just starts barking at you? Somebody's pointing out something that you may have said, or all of a sudden they're judging you, and you're like, well, why can't I? So, and you said something about you being in the military before. You would have to watch your back because there's a target on you. So, there's a pattern here. Tell me if you understand what I'm saying, Victoria. And the thing is that you know that you can go into combat, you can go into doing this, but there's a certain amount of anxiety that you have to squelch. That turns into tension in the body, and tension in the body is stressful. And when there's stress there's less energy to heal. It just causes you to be sick. But your attraction factor at this point, you just keep bringing in people having to, and you're like, what? So I want to help you. And I asked Spirit, what do you feel like you have a target? And they go, yeah, you around 3.5 years old, you feel like people are picking on you. You began to worry that there might be something wrong with you, or why is the people are attacking me? And then they said, when you're about 13 and a half, you're just like, oh my gosh, you stopped doing the things that were people complaining about. So you put self-imposed limitations. So let's say they criticized the way you had your hair. So you stopped yourself from liking your hairdo. So you go out and change yourself for them. And then you got about 22 and you're like, nope, not doing that anymore. But you have all these roots that are sitting there, which still attracts in. You may have overcome, you may have grown, And now you bite back, you say something, and or you like, yeah, I'm gonna let that bother me. But the root keeps pulling it in. Your attraction factor keeps pulling it in. So they want you to be able to hold, that's right, no, okay. Your relationship skills, social skills are, you have to grow. You have to, they're not serving you anymore. So you're on a soul growth of changing your social skills. So you may want to write down your social skills is to shut up or be the target or yeah, bring it on, and you got that comment, bring it on. And it's like, do you really want to be saying these things? Okay. So how your social skills are, you may have to go, all right, I don't want to do that. Now, you want to stop being a target. And I says, do you want to stop being a target? And they go, not yet, because I feel deficient. Um, so deficiency is how you identify yourself. And they said, once you start to do that, changing that, then you'll be like, oh, then it'll be easy. So do you shut down and put on a mask? Do you hide your feelings? Do you show no emotion and you're tough? What type of personality attitude are they asking you to address? Okay. Once you begin to notice this particular emotion that makes you shut down, I says, what? And I says, is it coming at you? Does it strike within? They said, it's all about deficiency. So your journey of your soul is to understand what deficiency means to you. How do you see it? How do you see it in yourself? What kind of self-talk? Do you have good self-esteem? Do you have good communication with yourself? If you're denigrating yourself, then that is a deficiency. You're telling yourself that you're deficient, the way you talk to yourself. Okay, so this has to do with the way you gaslight yourself. Okay, you're gaslighting from what I can feel. So you have to figure out, how do you gaslight yourself? How do you take that information and look at it? Because your little child was trying to figure it out. This is going to be some time to take apart. So you want to disrupt the fact that there's always a territorial issues. Mine, somebody's trying to always take it. And somebody's trying to take it, you feel deficiency without it. Or if somebody's trying to take it, you feel deficient that you can't fight them because you're a fighter. But at the same time, you were built based on a particular feeling of overthinking. So they want you to do right wrist, first position, deep, or deep or soft, soft, R1S, soft. And they want you to begin to pay attention to how your relationships are, how it's a territorial issue, all about deficiency. Okay. The key word is understanding. Can you see when somebody makes a comment on what you say and you go, well, what's wrong with that? That is a form of a target. Okay. It's part of, I have to have enough proof that shows that I'm a target. That makes sense? Let me see what we've got going on. Hi, Nikki. How are you? Who else is here? Let me just double check, see if anybody else is paid. Oh, that's not the right one. Oh, what is this? This somebody. Nikki. Okay, whatever spirit wants. 1010. Ah, so you're completed something and you're gonna come around. Is that what I'm getting? Hey, Nick? Okay. Remember, if you ever get a reading from me, you don't see the clock on TikTok and Facebook, but there's a clock that sits over to my right, and when that'll be your timestamp. And so when you watch me on YouTube to rewatch your reading, just make sure you see, that's my timestamp, which right now would be 12:49, and it'll say Nikki, and then you can go right to that. You just, there, time. You're doing really well. To some degree, you're doing really well. Let's see. Yes, I think that too. I feel like I had to come on here today. Good to see you. I've had lots of themes of relationship, romantic coming up. Ooh, wonder if spirit is to speak life on that. Okay. Do you want to communicate with this? Yes. Now, they're showing me that you have a strategy for love. So I ask in the simple case, is to have love? And what is the strategy? Does it include that you have to go of a lot of ups and downs? Yes. And then a lot of push and pulls? Yes. So you want a romantic relationship. I'm assuming that's what you want. And it feels like that you're pulling in. They said one of the strategies you're going to have to break is that you feel like there's always a regret process. So look back at any relationships you may have had and wonder if you are regretting any of those. I don't want a relationship now, but I have been working through the past. Okay, good. So have you ever regretted? Yes, my past relationship left that way. Oh, okay, felt that way. Good. There's your examples. Get the feel, measure it, because I really want you to start to change this. They want you to grab left wrist, second position, nice and deep. R2D. Okay. You're going to have to run in the feel. Don't go out, come and go. It's because of this. No, I want you to feel and allow yourself to stay in that position until it's gone. I feel it right now. It's triggered today by, okay, so what number you have, hold R2D. Now I'm looking at like what today's was about. They're showing me, no, I can't do this again. So before you do the regret one, we're going to just jump in and say, I'm going to do R2D. So to get part of to have love again, you have to go through this. So before we can get to the regret one, you have to look at this. This one is right wrist, second position. So the first one was left. Now it's right wrist, second position deep. Okay. Right wrist, second position deep is no, I can't do this again. Regret is left wrist, second position deep. Got my lefts and my rights confused today. Left wrist, second position deep. Regret. But this one says, no, I'm not doing this again. I know I've seen this 1,000 times. Not doing it again. So really look at these energy field. Okay. Because you're sick and tired of the habit of being gaslit. And I said, you're not doing the right thing. So in your relationships, did they always make you feel like you didn't do the right thing? And they will let you know. So while you're doing something and they're like, whatever, gestures. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Because of this, they want you to look at in your mind's eye. This is where you may have to go to my Medicine Woman Soultion.Weebly.com to look for under healing tools, chord switching, but sensory accessing. Because the gestures, seeing the gestures, you can almost hear the gestures. And don't you give me that look, that tone of voice, you know that. And what it is that you're cued to shut off whatever you're doing and behave and to do it accordingly. As I'm looking at this, then you're like, I do it because I know they'll beef up the aggression with maybe a slight of tone of voice. Okay, so your ear accent is very important because I've gone through this. I had to break up and heal all these relationships that I had, my sensory relationships, because it was boiled down to I'm playing a game and all of a sudden everybody's swearing because that's part of the thing. I go to swear and it's like, and then without really saying anything, and giving me the gestures on their face and all of that, that I had to become, I'm like, I feel my whole body going into this. It ended the game because I was doing it wrong, according to them. And I'm falling to pieces. And I'm like, I'm in my head going, what am I doing? Why is this happening? Why can't I be myself? And the program said, no, you have to beat yourself up. You have to feel bad. You have to go through this whole thing, blah, 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 because they just gaslit you. And what? I had to research it. Yes, but I didn't let the person do this this time. Good. But the root is there. The root is there because you're going to get it seen as you're working with your soul. You're going to get whisper about the thing you have to heal. But if you don't hear the whisper, it's going to go to beasting. And then if you don't do that, they're going to push that button until you do knee jerk, till it gets, and then all of a sudden it'll just be a bitch slap, and it can be a flying one. And because it's like, wake up to see what you're doing. You're losing power to this. Yes, it is there, still heavy. Because fear's telling you got to keep this all the time. Fear is telling you. Do you understand? Oh, you have to because you don't want this to happen again. And I'm your best friend, says the fear. And it convinces you and you follow it. And oh my goodness gracious. So we want you to kick that into the curb. And that is, I don't want to do this. Okay. So your relationship, you got to get rid of all those roots, transform them all out. And when you start to remove the chemical peptide and your automatic responses, all of a sudden everything kind of rearranges inside of you. You get that life force back and you'll start responding differently. Okay. And the one thing that you're tired of is how you're parented, how love is used as a weapon. It's like, do it or I'm going to take my love away. And you're like, no, as a kid, right? Well, that's part of why somebody can manipulate you, is because you're like taking the thing you wanted. You felt happy. You felt wonderful. Do the cord switching. Cord cutting does nothing. It does something. But I want you to take it to the soul. I want you to do look under cord, or cord, is it cord switching? Yeah. Medicine Woman Soultion. That's SOULTION.Weebly, WEBLY.com. Look under healing tools and you'll see all these healing tools that are for free for you to do, because your life force is keeping that alive and you need that life force to not survive, but to thrive. Breathe it through. You're starting to feel dizzy. Well, you had to put up all of these walls, all of these safeguards, and life as you know it feels okay. But like my chiropractor said, my body was held in a position that I was like, that was normal, but I had to go in because I had pain. But then with my new position, that felt uncomfortable, but my body hasn't been held in that way in so long. Am I going to go back to the crap, or am I going to no. So the body is like, I'm ready to go back to a healthy state. So the body is saying, and so if I look at the dizzy, is that you feel deficient. And who am I without this gaslighting? I need to let them gaslight me so I can protect myself. But fear is a liar. Right. You don't want to put up a wall. You want to put up the healthy boundary that they can't cross over. And when you put up a wall, your energy gets stuck, and then their energy can get stuck, and then fear just keeps. No, we want flow. I usually show up as passive aggressive or confusing. I'm the thing, but I'm also another. Yes, and so you're transforming to become a spiritual human, your soul, and your heart brain coherence, and you're done playing these games. So, again. You have a lot of territorial control because somebody says, oh, you're not using your power, so I'm just going to take it. And then they use it and they manipulate you. And being a good girl, I did the same thing. Doing the right thing, they saw that I wasn't using it, so they took it. And it was like, I don't want to give my power away anymore. I'm done. So I take my pen back and begin to write it myself. Okay? You guys are really, I love this. You're coming here, you're learning that you do not have to get stuck repeating things. So how has your life been growing? Because tribal is tomorrow. We always have the tribal of every Tuesday or Monday, according to where you are, if you're in the States. And we communicate and learn and to grow and to heal. And Giselle says it feels like zero. And it's actually a 1.5. I said, you need to hold a little longer. They said, she's on her journey of, was yours deficiency? You're on your journey. And so what happens is that they want you to know that this is going to be ongoing. So when you feel like it's zero, for every time I give you a point, no matter if I forget to tell you the next part, I always want you to go, okay, I think it's zero. Take a golden white light. So you have this cord, a light cord that comes here. You're going to unconnect. You're going to take it because there's several, but you're going to take it out, connect one end to this heart, and you're going to stretch it out. Okay. You're going to stretch it out to deficiency or to whatever it is. And you ask it, will you accept this cord now? Okay, fine. That cord stay in there. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Thanks. And we're getting blessings to you. But you want to develop a different entanglement cord to this creation. You feel it, I feel too weak to hold this point. And that is because deficiency serves you. So this is why you stop, put the cord there, and say, okay, how is this serving me? How have I seen this being used? What? Okay, I don't remember the exact words, but one of the things is that you are not supposed to have empathy for yourself, and you're supposed to have empathy for others. Well, to view a different perspective takes time. And you may have to come back and visit this, but your brain says, I need new information. So you, as you heal out that chemical peptide, okay, then you got to replace it with new knowledge, new emotions. And so you're going to start working with your spirit and say, okay, thank you, spirit. If I am not this, and I don't, I memorize this is who I am and this is what I do, but if I'm not this, who would I be? So you're looking for a new purpose, a new way, not to survive, but to grow. So like you would move into, where'd my happy go? So the language would change, and then you would start to notice, where does my happy go? And then all of a sudden you would go right wrist, second position, deep, and look at that and go, so you're happy, and you just had a live experience that your happiness disappeared, and you'd go, where'd my happy go? Oh, that's R2D. So you're waking up inside how you lose these powers. You understand? Okay, Nikki, um, neck pain. Yes, tension, stress. It burns up B vitamins. It restricts the flow of energy to move through. And when it restricts, this is where your body is no longer at ease. And therefore, you then become a magnet to bring in negative stuff. And then your body gets tight. And then makes it worse. And then, so then you got to do yoga. And then you got to, that's why we have walking yoga exercises, is because a lot of people don't know how to take care of the mental and emotional, but we still are physical beings, and we still need to take care of that as well. That makes sense? Okay. Now, if you're new here and I've never did a reading before, here's your chance. If you'd like to have a reading, and I have read you before, you have an opportunity of 5, 15, or 25. That depends on you. And I do take PayPal. That's up to you. Okay. Wonderful. Nikki says R2D is great. I'm yawning a lot and I'm not dizzy. Good. So breathe it through, supporting the body, supporting your soul. Your soul wants you to be that state of love that you have, and it's never left you. You just stopped seeing it, and you stopped recognizing it, and you stopped memorizing it. And so when somebody says they feel good, this is why I tell you to witness that it has made a better difference. So when it gets down to a small number, you're going to go, oh, I did it. How do I know? Because it's not a 10. Well, how do I know? Because I feel good. Then all of a sudden it's like, what does feel good? Because somebody says, oh, I feel good. But now you got the sensation that says, I feel good. So you feel the positive charge. Oh, I feel healthy. I feel the positive charge. And your brain is going, so the next time that you go through this process, no, I'm going to feel good and I'm going to let that go. Okay. All good. All good. Are we ready to go get Amy? I'm going to go double check to make sure I didn't miss anything. We will go get Amy. And then we go over here. Oh, yeah, that's right. Where's my paste button? Okay. All righty. Nikki says, what's funny too is the person who triggered me also reminded him of his ex. Oh, are you able to communicate, or is that just happen to be, is he aware or not aware? But there is yeah, that's good. A lot of people haven't understood that logic, that their attraction factor, what they know, is going out, and that's what you get. Here she comes. Here she comes.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Is everybody here okay? I had that turned down earlier. I don't know if I need to turn it up. So just if you
Good.
can't hear
Inter-
her, I will turn it up. How can I help, dear?
Interesting things have happened today,
Okay, thank you.
like on my show, not greeting you or thinking I did.
Okay, so how you're showing up to me with this new energy field, let me just start you off. You are at a path switch. You know what a path switch is?
Mhm.
Would you like to tell people what you've learned a path switch is?
A path switch is where you no longer fit where you are, and if you try to stay there, Spirit's going to push you out of your comfort zone.
Right. So as a path switch, is your soul's on a different trajectory now, and now you have to clean up everything that somebody else has created, or the idea that you thought you, if you like, for instance, oh my god, I can never leave this place. We have to make do, that you got to make and say goodbyes. You have to take your energy off it. You have to understand that if you don't do this as a whisper, your soul that you're meant to be over here, you're going to get bitch slapped. So you want to participate in your soul's
Mhm.
adventure. Okay,
Oh,
now this is not a punishment from the soul.
mm-mm.
You said, when I get to be 50, whatever your age you are, I want to be here. But if you haven't evolved in your way back here, and now the time comes where you're supposed to go and fulfill that, your soul says, well, how do you want me to help you? Give me a whisper. How many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? Well, how many
Uh-huh.
times do you need to be told that you've said no, 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 no? Now you can't, because life is going to change dramatically for you. So your whispers are going to increase. Now that you can feel, and you know you've been feeling that that's happened, it just means that universe and you are like, oh, I got to step it up a bit. I've been getting a bit lazy. Like I didn't invest in my future. Oh shit, now I got to start. So you got a lot of things to close down,
Mhm.
clean up, find out information, because you are creating learning about independence
Mhm.
and to take your energy and create a future. Your life has been the opposite. Somebody created it for you. I feel like you had an arranged marriage. I feel like you had
Mhm.
everybody make that decision for you. Let's get her uterus ripped out. Let's not let her have kids. Let's,
Mhm.
whatever. And you're like, okay, this is my life. This is my life. This is my life. And now your soul is saying, no, you're right. This is my life. Now you need to take the pen back.
Mhm.
So you have a lot of things to change. And if you're still going, I'm resisting, you will may be pulling away from certain things. I don't want to do it. Well, therefore, you have to decide, and that means you could get pulled away from me. You may get pulled away from spirituality. You may be able to do just enough. I don't know if you're going to go on a wave, but you got some stuff to do.
Hmm.
And so when you have these, oh, an emu feather, huh, that's interesting. I'll have to look up what an emu is. But what I'm looking at is that your reality of how you know it and how comfortable it was, it's going to have to be disrupted. I said, okay, why? Well, because the archetypes don't serve her anymore. I said, which one? The child of many faces is one that you're like, well, I don't want to be that child anymore. So now I don't know if I have it rearranged properly so I can, no, I put it over on that shelf. Ah, brilliant. So I was thinking I didn't need it, but now here I am needing it. So thank you, Spirit. I will eventually get it. Yep, put it on the other side. Okay, so the child of many faces.
You want me to pull it?
Well, if you got it in close, then yeah. Otherwise, you know, we'll have to do it later. But what does that mean? Oh, that's funny. I moved mine. What do you know?
The eternal, the magical, the divine, the wounded, the orphan, and the nature.
All righty. So when you begin to just you're for yourself, what sounds like you?
Um, the orphan, the wounded, they're the ones that popped out.
Okay. When you take that orphan, is that still your story?
No,
Wounded, is that still your story?
no.
But can you see how it served you? Can you
Mm-hmm.
see how you got things out of it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not trying to accuse your mother of this, but I want you to feel the correlation. Oftentimes, this is tough because I don't want everybody to assume this. This is not, this is just helping her understand something. Did you feel you had to be a broken child in order for your mother to take care
Yeah.
of you? So did you, so in other perspective, it looks like Munchausen. Okay. It's like you have to be sick in order for me to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
So you chose to do what?
Follow the energy field.
Okay. You know that now. But as a child, you were doing it for survival. Because you weren't seen, weren't heard, weren't,
No.
you know, you didn't want to be an orphan again. You didn't, so the wounded. So she gave you attention when you were wounded.
Mm-hmm.
Your brother was brilliant, so he got attention. It just reminds me of Megamind, the cartoon movie. Well, if good's already taken, I may as well be bad. But if you know, so did your mother have this? Something's wrong with you. We have to make sure that you can take care of yourself. I don't believe that you can take care of yourself. So I'm going to need to
Mm-hmm.
set up the future for you.
Yeah.
I feel like your mother always set it up, and it's like, so you never really got to experience or develop.
Mm-mm.
So now you get to.
Mm-hmm.
It can feel scary as F.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But at the same time, you have had many experiences with spirit that says it's going to be scary, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
You had a session recently. What was one of the major epiphanies that you had that you're like, whoa, that feeling, that emotion, that what?
Why does fear feel so safe?
Did you hear that, people? Why does fear feel so safe? So the question to you is it still your best friend? Right now, the walls are coming down, they're crumbling. The
Mm-hmm.
cabinets are coming off the wall. Your support system is not there. You have to now fill in that support system.
Mm-hmm.
Your old way would be to argue, to beg, to borrow, to whatever your old way is. Those are just examples. You don't, or you can't, or have you? How do you keep that support?
I, it's gone. It's looking for something new.
Okay. So spirit said, hey, you're supposed to be here. So we have to take that first thing, which is support, away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And it always then falls down to this. Well, who is your support? If they died or weren't existing, how would you do it? Because the reason it's asked that way is because they're always there. They were always consistent. This is what you always knew.
Yep.
You could rely on it. This is what's happening. But what if it wasn't there? Are you going to curl up into a ball and die?
No.
Majority of the time, we're 100% always make it through these things because once you especially turn to spirit, the answer is right there. And the more you heal your fear, the more the answer is right there and always has been.
Mm-hmm.
We will go, but I have to think my way out of this. I have to. So you come up with all these conclusions and they fall through. They fall through. And it feels like less and less. But if you, knowing the path switch, and just say, thank you, Spirit, show me what I need to do today. What do I need to research? What do I need? What information am I looking for? Instead of saying it's too stressful, I don't want to do it, give me a cookie. It is, thank you, Spirit. It's the stress is an 8. I'm going to do this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have the tools that's your mother and father, especially your mama and your brother, gave to you from the other side. Because one, your soul said, this is my journey. Two, it's time for you to see that you're developing into this beautiful woman. You already are, but to
Mm-hmm.
be able to be self-esteem, self-confident, that has this independence that when people look at you, you did it.
Mm-hmm.
You get to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
But it's scary because you have all of this stuff that you have to close down, gather information, so another door will open. So this is where MWS vision reality is going to come into play. You need to be open to spirit to show you where the money's coming from, show you what you're going to be doing next. And things are halted. It doesn't mean it's stopped forever. It just means, okay, I got to take care of this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to pay attention to who are you attracting in? What kind of lifestyle? And what, where are they on this? Not that we're judging, it's just that your discernment is what am I attracting in? What am I believing in? This is how I'm going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do it like when you traveled and spirit says, hey, look over here, done. Hey, look over here, done. Hey, look over here, done. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
And that's how you can do your life path switch. But in the meantime, it's going to be stretched out because time is required in this one because it's more than just you involved. It's anybody in your space.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, you're going to be learning how to find a different voice
Mm-hmm.
to do that. Now let's look a little bit further. Okay. Let's look a little bit further. People are going to make you feel awkward. And then you're going to start seeing how your fight, flight, flee, freeze, fawn, fornicate. Let's skip that one. Um, flop. So
Mm-hmm.
people pleaser, or you get to see how you had to, how these eyes were looking at you and how you had to respond. And do they have the control button? So who and what and where, who has this control button? You've had a big upset with money and other people in your reality that don't believe you deserve. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that's true or not, but it's my
Oh,
reading.
yeah.
And you realize this isn't about fighting and let's talk it out, let's get this. You're realizing that shit, I put this in motion when I said I want to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just going to cancel that and go back to misery. No, you're not gonna, because you're like, I can't do that anymore. I'm not. I also don't want to die, and I don't want to live that way, and I'm not going to compromise. I am ready to move forward. So this is where you got to trust the unknown, but you trust it with spirit. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So this part of your past switch is that there's going to be excess of seeing where you're deficient, and the program, you're going to be able to hear extra the words, fear convincing, the excess that could and then do the human thing and try to manipulate, control. You're going to start seeing more of these because you can't take that with you to that new part of your life.
No.
So these are going to come up. But as you be the third option, you're going to be your spirit self observing, but you also can go, wait a minute, stop. I'm going to heal this out. And as you do, you're going to be able to grow quickly. Now, what's happening here is that overwhelm, other people's overwhelm, TV shows, whatever, you can't help going. "Ugh." So, what I got to experience on the planet's energy last night is I'm 57. Do I have a will? I'm 57. Do I have a steady home? I'm 57. Being a female in America, I have to, where am I? And so, undue fear. Whoa, door's open. Let's go in. You're going to check it because you're like, oh my God. You're going to check it because you got 5 minutes to figure this out. We have detected inactivity during your broadcast complete. So it's a totally different thing. It's not even, I've been on for an hour. It says, confirm, confirm. Select two objects that are the same shape. Are you freaking kidding me? So the rules have changed to select
Uh-huh.
this and select this one. Oh, see, I thought I was supposed to bring them together. Unable to verify, even though they were correct.
What
Too
the?
much of a time, too much of a time lapse. And now I'm going to pick this M and this M. Unable to detect two shapes. Oh, those are letters. Apparently, that's not the correct shape. I do not see any other. Pick two objects that are on the same shape. They only have two. This is a Y and this is a Y. Oh, made me do it 3 times before they realized that I was doing
You
it
did it right
right.
the first time.
Correct. Spiritually, you're doing it right, but you got to get into that alignment.
Mm-hmm.
It can be frustrating. I could have blown my top. But what it was is that the rules. Now, why that came up is because normally it is, oh, you've been on for an hour. Let's put the puzzle piece in.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to stop, pay attention, and read. Does it still serve me to bitch and moan? No.
Yeah.
Okay. Take a second, pause, be in spirit, look, do, and be done. Yes, I want to continue. Yes, I am here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you are persuaded by people's energy of disapproval, whether they approve of it or not, whether it is perfect for you or not. You can't help but your body. And I said it is the second chakra that controls your third. Your second chakra picks up from the environment. I'm going to be disapproved of if I give this tone of voice, or if I did this particular action, or if I go on vacation, or if I, you know, and you know that you're going to get disapproved of and be controlled by this. So your disapproval, being disapproved of, your the central meridian it's going to flip your pole too. So this makes you feel vulnerable. So you're really going to have to do your basics, or at least keep this one up. You are going to have to learn to exert your power, but this is the test. Will I do it the old way? Or can I do it the new way? Or do I have
Mhm.
to have a mixture of both?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So you're going to do some L2D because your old way is not going to work anymore. Because there's going to be other advocates that's going to stand up because you're not meant to go back to the old path. You're meant to go to that side. You're not meant to go that way. You understand?
Mhm.
So you're going to get more resistance and being pushed out that door. But the fear is saying, no, I got to hold on to what I know. But your power, to exert your power, but you have to get rid of the impending doom. So you're going to be doing two emotions in one with L2D. Impending doom. Oh my God, oh my God. And so then you're going to exert your power by whatever means, the old human way of doing it,
Mhm.
but always feeling I can't exert my power. It always fails. And yet, if I exert my power to the right person, it'll work. But it's not going to happen this time because it isn't about ego human programs that is supposed to design your world. Your spirit is.
Mhm.
And all I can tell you is you got to trust. You heal out every damn fear you have, you heal it out. Get that power to create the new path that you're going to be walking on. And the spirit will deliver, deliver, deliver. I will tell you, as I'm looking in my life that's here with my husband I have now, I'm like, what? That didn't exist, nor was that a part of my program,
Mhm.
but I felt the switch. And I had to stop living in the bubble that this person loved me. And I had to stop letting them manipulate two great people that do not work anymore. And I would have to put up with how people are going to chastise me, hate me, tell me I'm doing it wrong, telling me that I'm abandoning my life, or them abusing me with their words. You experienced this yesterday with one person. Interesting. Good. Okay. So, but it's very strong in the planet. And all I can tell you is that I said, okay, I'm like this big ass target that if I stop being a people pleaser or I stopped caring and because I like, oh, I could never inconvenience people. I had to, my body was dying on me. And I remember reading articles and things like this in the past, how women would die because they couldn't change things in their life. And this is just their, no, that's a no for me, a hard no. Not doing that. And so I had to do a different route. That means I had to be okay to lose my family and friends. I had to break up with the rules. Hey, it's the heft way. You got to do it the heft way. No, I don't.
Mhm.
And I don't have to. And yes, I've got hate groups that are pissed because I broke their little heart or I betrayed them. I didn't even know I had any of these contracts with them. They had these stories in their mind with me. Because I didn't live up to their standards, they feel that they can abuse me. Then, now I don't care. I didn't. How was I supposed to know? You guys never spoke to me. You tell me you love me, but I haven't seen you in 5 years.
Mhm.
But yet I have to get permission from all of you? No.
Mhm.
So, right now, your major concern is to get all the answers that you can get. And spirit, you keep healing out any fear. Spirit's going to say, here's a door that you didn't see before. Here's an option you never saw before. So you're going to have to keep fear in check. You are not my master, fear. You're not my master, fear. Oh,
Mhm.
you got me believing that's true. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Oh, really? She says, I was tested yesterday from that person at Christmas. Interesting. Okay, so
Wow.
So the idea is, how will you show up? Because this is a while. What is this? Almost April, and that was December. So have you have you grown? Have you held your own? You will be tested. It's time to put yourself in a stressful state that you don't want to do. But do you have to see the stress? And that's the biggest thing. And that, like
Don't.
us looking for a car, I had no idea that this was the stress was there. Like, oh, I don't want to go every day. Why? There's so much fun things to do. So I had to heal out that. And then it was like, oh, why can't we just pull the trigger already? Meaning get it. I'm like, where'd that come from? And it was always having to wait. So I had a lot of whispers of healing just over the idea of researching a car, because we both do it. We both research because we're looking for the third option instead of neither one of us compromising.
Mm-hmm.
And Spirit designed a vehicle that existed. We just found it because Spirit said, oh, well, here's an option. Oh, how about this? And I would say things, and I would talk back, and tell him and listen, this and that, and all of a sudden I would hear the gem pops that was needed for this puzzle to come together. That's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, majority of your day, do you have a list? Majority of the day, how have you devoted to this path switch? Just, you don't have to answer, you can type whatever you want, but you woke up and you're going to go to bed. Has any of this time been devoted to getting and focusing on the path switch and what Spirit's asking you to do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good. You need to have, Spirit will tell you, I need you to focus on this. I want you to focus on that. Oh, we need to heal this. We need to heal that. And Spirit will guide you, because if you say yes and you're moving in that direction, the path is going to be open quickly. Now, are you a person that can get on the bullet train and just like, or is it too fast? It's too fast. It's too overwhelming. Heal that. Because I would look at this, and the next thing you know, well, that's going to be taken care of. Thank you, Spirit is done. And all of a sudden it'll be boom, 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 boom. And some people, it could go too fast. I got all this other work. And then heal that to which is telling you,
The overwhelm.
but it's not necessary.
Mm-mm.
It's what you remembered. It's
Mm-hmm.
who did you copy? Who did you borrow that from? Because as your spiritual self, it doesn't have to be a whirlwind. It doesn't have to be. You are popping in and out of existence at all times to a new reality or the same one. You get to choose.
Mm-hmm.
So, this or better.
This or better. Yes. At some. I'm here. At some. I arrived.
Good. You remember.
Oh yeah, that comes out of my mouth multiple times a day.
Good. That. And so when you see an arrive, I arrive. What is those goals? What are those things?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's not about just looking at clues. It's about, how am I participating? What do I need to close today? What do I need that? Have I gathered my energy back? Have I done all this? And as you start, like the biggest thing was it last week, the week before, when I had you pull a card, and I'm asking very specific questions because I'm following, like I would follow a pendulum or follow Spirit, as a yes, no, maybe. Is there more information? I don't got it quite right. What is it? And then I had to heal something in me, and then all of a sudden the answer came. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be having to step up even further as a spirit being to really walk your talk. Live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it, dream it, and imagine it with Spirit. And that is love is love. It doesn't have to be all these other things. What are you laughing about? Well, your thumbs up. Your mom's got your mom is definitely here. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Did you get anything out of this?
I don't have to believe my own bullshit.
So what have you been believing that needs to be healed out? Can you tell me?
Um,
It's up to
no.
you. Okay. But you got to stop yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If that's coming up, just heal it anyway, even if it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's what I've been doing.
Good, 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 good. And it is all going to get better for you. It really is if you allow it. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So this is not necessarily a healing one, but you just getting certain specific directions can help out a lot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So when you go to hold R2D, what are the two emotions?
R2D, L2D, you said.
L2D. What is wrong with my tongue? L2D, left wrist, second position deep. It's
That's
the liver.
fine.
L2D is what? 2 points or emotions?
Uh, Disapproval and impending doom.
Exertion of power, impending doom. How interesting is this? Hold on. What timeline am I in right now? Is it lack of power or exertion of power?
Exertion.
Okay. And impending doom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We know that disapproval is connected to how you're being controlled. But you can't get to that until you realize, oh, I just got disapproved of. Or, oh, I just saw the filter that somebody disapproved of me. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's coming to that. And the impending doom. You were always taught that you have to have this impending doom. So your mom is trying to tell you, hey, we raised you a certain way, but we want you now to become more independent.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with you. That was me. That was your father. That was that life. But now you're off all these medications. I'm not seeing you the way I saw you when I was alive. I am seeing you just as every other normal person. So she must have saw you a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Some form of disability, some form of lack of something. She
Lack of
just,
not being Paula.
yeah, right. And the thing is it's not true. You are not any of that. You don't not meant to be.
Mm-mm.
You are a very capable person, and it's time for you to say, okay, I'm ready to be me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you later, and we'll see you in tribal tomorrow.
Absolutely.
All right, love you, babe. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
So, what question did we have over here? I'm doing the cord cutting. Why is my right arm jerking to the left? It's like it is. Oops. Let's see if I can get the. Like it's wanting. It's like it's wanting me to. So you're feeling this, and I'm going to ask the question: is this have anything to do with programmed memories? Okay, so it's about. So as you're doing the cord switching, and it's reaching for something. Well, when you are disconnected from your whole, okay, so I ask, is there any fractured parts? Yes. Is this fractured part trying to stay? It does. You have okay. You're going to have to ask this fractured part to come forward, and you are going to have. She's your 8-year-old self, and ask her to do the cord switching. You have to look why. What is it? The emotion. What? And she says, well, it's always I'm supposed to be helpless. But I'm always asking, what about me? But I'm not allowed to. Cord switching. Because cord cutting doesn't take the roots out, it doesn't do the energy exchange. You need to do cord switching is energy exchange. You cut nothing because the roots are always behind. As a cord switching, you are looking at the colors, the frequency, the vibrations, the energy they put on you, the energy they took from you, the energy of where you stopped. And you have the cord switching you are taking, you're saying, oh my God, this pain, this suffering. You can be holding this point, you can be holding this point, whatever. But you also can do sensory accessing with this. So you can integrate these two healing tools. And you're like, and you'll literally feel, oh my God, I can feel you place that on me. No, no. And you're going to put that in the treasure chest, put it into the treasure chest because you're like, I don't want it. You're not getting it back to use it again. You're going to have to work on your own self. So I'm going to put it in the treasure chest and it's there when you go to heal your own crap. So you take it off, you take it off, you take it off, take it off until all of a sudden there's nothing left to take off. Then you're going to go, how dare you put that on me? How dare you put, and you can feel how they put it on you and you're going to heal that out. And then you're going to heal, oh my God, you took something. Give me that back. Give me that back. Give me that back. Give me that back. And you're taking it all back. So you're doing cord exchange. Okay. You're balancing and transformating all of the storylines with this particular person. You may go, oh my God, pictures. Ah, I can see you do this. And then you go switch over to the different and it's, oh, it's less. You may include your ears, but you can change how all this runs together. Do you understand? So chord switching is transformation. It isn't, oh yeah, cut the cord. Oh, I feel better now. They're not hooked to me. Bullshit. You have the root inside of you. You have the same story. You have everything and nothing has transformed. Okay. Okay. So chord switching, and it's what everybody needs to hear. Why did she switch it from cord cutting to switching? That's just stupid. It should be always cord cutting. That's all we've ever known. It don't work when you understand energy and see energy. So I asked Spirit, how come I keep getting the same result? Because it doesn't work. I said, show me how to make it work. And Spirit says, exchange, transformation. You need to reset that and change the entanglement cord to which is that was supposed to be clean and golden with all the beautiful variations of colors of life. Instead, it gets mucky, twisted, and old consciousness, collectiveness, and all of this. It needs to be transformed. And I'm like, show me how. When Spirit showed me, now cord switching was not connected with sensory accessing. That tool came in later. And it worked wonders. But then when I was able to put it with the sensory accessing, holy moly. Once you reset the cords, which is what I'd also tell Amy with the family that she has, reset the cord. Because you want fresh, clean, balancing to move in the direction instead of having to fight the system. You are creating a new reality. And you may not see it yet. You just know it's based on the frequency of love, 888, or the frequency of joy, the frequency, but it's a different frequency. And that helps your chakras, that helps your meridians, that helps all of you. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, if you're listening and you want a free reading, and I've never read you before, then you can get a free reading. Hi, how you doing, TP? How are you? Good to see you, dear. Thank you for that support. Totally appreciate it. I'm just going to look over and make sure I didn't miss anything. It's hard to trust people when you ask for something and they take their lovely time doing it. Does that mean I have to heal something in here, or does that mean I have to stand up and say something? We'll see. Hi, Tanya. How are you? And is there anything specific that you would like me to address? Or would you just, the cord switching is intense, good or bad, or indifferent. Okay. If it's too intense, you slow it down and do only what you can. If you feel that it's okay to let it go and change it, then you're going to rise. Otherwise, you can take it slow, but indifferent, but it's intense. Yeah. And because it also shifts reality. Yeah, you're going to feel, okay, so you're feeling the energy. Excellent. All right, Tanya. I'm just going to give you a read, and this is a soul read, just the usual. Okay, well, what I do is I ask your soul what you want to talk about. And one of the things, Tanya, that I'm seeing is that there's an overwhelmed feeling. Now, if you want to listen to this again, you go over to YouTube and the timestamp will be next to you. But when you look to pull it back, you're going to look at the clock that's to my right. Okay. Now, or left, whatever the mirror image is. But I'm looking at this and it says, I am going. So your language of what you're saying is, I am going, I'm going to have to, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to. And they said, when you look at this, is that did you have growing up, were you told that you were bad? Were you told you were a bad influence? Why do I see the word infamy? Known for being bad. Is it just one person? Is it a group of people? But it sways on who you are. So somebody has an opinion, one or more, about who you are, and you believe them. Meh, not enough. Neglect. Okay. And the thing is that that's their reality. That's their reality. Because what I see here is that you're saying, you know what? My soul is waking up and I can see how they use words to coerce me, or they're using manipulation, or they're using something, and I have to sit there. Your soul is asking you, why haven't you been moving? And I says, what do you mean by that? And they says, why haven't I been moving? And they're saying that there's a part of you that feels the broadcast of people and it feels like they're blocking your exit. Does this make sense? So in the particular feeling that's going on with you that doesn't allow you, it feels like you're constantly being policed. Do you feel like people are policing your actions, your movements, what you say, what you do, how you do it? And does it get to you? Can you relate to anything I'm saying? And no, then your life's great. So this becomes, what are you aware of? Because if you can't hear the energy to what's happening, then you need to ask, is there a question? Because if you're looking to want or seek to understand what your soul is saying, you have to wake up to the things that are around you, or the patterns and the programs. And what is the same thing that's happening every day. Now, it's not easy to wake up to, but you can take care of the emotions. Now, you were saying that you feel meh, or you can't connect. Well, I just stepped out. Life isn't bad. Okay, so you're not connecting with the soul like, I'm not your reader. Because in order to change it, to get the stuff that, okay. Oh, you didn't hear what I said. Get to re-listen to that part again on YouTube. Okay. If you are really awake, if you're really awake, your soul's asking you to take care of emotional chemical peptides that are keeping you locked into this particular life. Your life isn't bad, but have you evolved, or have you acclimated to the point that you become so complacent that you don't know, I don't have direction, I don't have purpose, I'm good, life is good, I don't want it to change. Where are you on the evolution of your soul? That becomes a question, because according to your soul, it is that you're vibrating and you're doing good, you let things play out. So why are you here? Because I'm here to help people to evolve, to look at certain emotions. I am really good at a good point. Tons of inner work done. Excellent. Then, if you're here, I asked, your body said that you wanted to work on this. So you do have anxiety or don't? Or have you healed it? Because there's different levels of awakening. So do you have anxiety right now? Because anxiety is anxiety about the future. It is fear of the future in that hasn't happened yet. Yes, just got done with my client. Okay, so you are in this healing field. And you're saying that you just got done with your client and that you have anxiety. Is it their anxiety or is it your anxiety? Different levels of awakening. So yes, you want to work with your inner child. Uh, so the anxiety, when I ask about the anxiety, I am private CNA, don't know what that means, mostly theirs, little of mine. So are you able to keep your shields up? Are you able to have those healthy boundaries? Have you allowed yourself to have hold space? You don't have to absorb. You can observe. A nurse assistant, gotcha. So what is the infamy? My own business, nurse assistant, shields, just learning. Okay. Okay. So what I'm looking at is that there's an infamy. So are you constantly around? Okay. Are you constantly around negative people? Bad situations, being a nurse, I'm looked down on. Oh, so you're looked down on. Okay. And you're there to help people because you don't have a 4-year degree, but you're there to help people. And I'm isolating. Okay. So notice how you see how they're looking down upon you. Notice how that's true for you, that can trigger you, and how your inner world will create your outer world. If I were to say to you right now, what number is that to be true? 10 being, oh God, it's true. When you pull away from them and you're done, the point is that if the root's still there, you'll track to the end continuously. I want you to heal the root so that your attraction factor can switch. So you do not have to have that as your truth. Okay. So can you measure how much you believe that's true? And you may have a picture of somebody, you may feel their words or their gestures on their face. You're afraid of conflict. Okay, there you go. So if I look at this, I'm looking at your 7-year-old self that says that this has always been a habit. These lofty people that might look up down upon you always make me feel irrelevant. So at 7 years old, you felt somebody that had some type of authority, or you thought they had authority, or they have something on you that you don't have that they now, but they always make you feel irrelevant. Now, you don't want conflict, but at the same time, you know that you don't want to feel this hopelessness or moving forward. So, what I'm looking at is that you have learned to be indifferent or ho hum. I don't want to feel certain things, so I disconnect from these certain feelings. Good. Now that you're doing that, what I want you to do for me is that you just have to follow me. Is that I want you to find your stomach, right? Here. No. I want you to go to your right leg. And I want you to go right where the bend of the foot is, but I don't want you to be at the bend. I want you to be on top of the foot. Right leg, that right in the middle, that top of the foot, that right in the middle. I want you to take your hand because it's magnet. I want you to go palm, flip it, back of the hand, that's 2, palm 3, back of the hand's 4. Do that 24 times. Okay. And then you're going to take your finger, your thumb, whatever you're reaching, you're going to push down and you're going to penetrate, not slide, but push down and penetrate 30 times. So we have a number. We know it's 8. We can hear the content. Okay. And her body. So what this is doing is that your magnetic field that creates your inner world creates your outer world. So you always got to constantly see this. You're telling the body, yeah, I'm going to break this program. I want to break this connection. I want to see my spiritual self. Okay. Now, when she's done with that, she'll say done. Now, I don't know, this is a controversial point, so it's up to you to decide whether or not, if you're pregnant, and if you are, you can't do this, I'll find a different point. But if you are worried that you might be, I'll switch and get a different point. But if you're like, yeah, no, I'm not, then you're going to go to the left side first, okay? Then we'll go to the right. You're going to the left first, and you're going to follow the thumb and the pointer finger, come feel the bones, and then slide forward into a hole. And you're going to sit there and you're going to push in and you're going to rub 30 times and say, irrelevant, 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 irrelevant. After you've done 30, then you go to the right and you go same point. And you're going to push in and go irrelevant, irrelevant, irrelevant. Because that point is about your history. Okay. Then once you've gotten that done, you're going to say done. Okay. And then we're going to do another point. So what's this doing is your energy is moving. You're going to get the blood back into your brain. You're going to get the electromagnetic fields balanced. You're going to get a clearer direction, get connected more to your heart-brain coherence. But you're going to go to the right. And again, so when you're done with that, you're going to go back to the right. You're like, but I just finished it. Very good. When you're done with the 30, then you're going to use a magnet on this side. Your hand, palm, 1, back of the hand, 2, palm, 3, back of the hand, 4. Do that 24 times on the right point here, which is the large intestine. So you do that 24 times. And then when you're done, you're going to get back in there and you're going to push in and penetrate 30 times. And then you're going to come back to me and you're going to look at that 8 and tell me if that 8 is still an 8. You're going to tell me if it went up, if it's the same, or it went down. You tell me. You're doing the work. You're doing the work. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the likes, the shares, and the coins. Very good, very good. When she's done and she gives me a number, she said it's the same. And I said, so she still says it's the same. And it's gone down. I said, is there a reason why you still see it the same? Yes. Why? I don't want to do it again. I don't want to do it again. Okay. So there's a part of you that doesn't want to do the same story with these people. I want you to hold right wrist, second position. Push your thumb and date, finger like that, safety, security, stability. Then you're going to take the heel of the palm to the forehead and let it drop. Now, if you do this, again, thumb in deep, in that second position, you line them up with fingers, but it's a second position. Your thumb goes here, not here or here. It's right there at second position. Just stay there. If you can hold that and you're going to stay here, I will honor and stay here too, because you can heal yourself by moving energy. And you saying it's still the 8. I want you to understand there's a difference between the charge, the sensation, oh my God, it's there, as well as the definition. I know what that is. Now, knowledge of understanding what it is different than the sensation of what it is. Okay. So the electrical charge and the brain that says, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, it goes in and goes, oh, I'm much more calmer. I can still see the definition of what I know, but I'm calmer. So learning to measure can be tricky. That's what I understand, but it's not driving me crazy. The sensation is, if I look at it, it's still there emotionally, or it's there. Okay, yeah, I can understand it. It's there. It's part of my life. This is what I know. What are you talking about? This doesn't change. It could be a belief that it doesn't change, but it's how does the charge affect your world? So again, hold that point, and I will stay here. If you stay in that position, which is right wrist, second position, deep, and I will talk to somebody else while you're holding that point instead of just getting off. So, Teresa, how you doing? How you doing? Teresa, are you here? Let's see where you at. And Amy was working on hers, and it was an L2D. Okay, so it's a 6 now. So, Amy, this is where I would tell you to use your magnet over your large intestine point and do both sides and then deeply rub. Because who and how you know your history, now we need to disrupt it so that you can go further. Teresa, did she leave? I don't know where she's at. I don't know if she just put that heart there or not. Put 2 hearts if you are here, Miss Teresa. There's a lot we can do to help a person shift their reality. The reality of what you know, which mindset are you in? But you can change it. You can change the frequency or you can change the energy flow. But when you get brain health, when your energy is moving in the brain, you are more likely to be connected to your source of love and have a heart brain coherence that has calming effects that can allow you to think out of a paper bag. The paper bag is no longer. She says she feels a little better, but again, if she's holding the point, I will hold the space for you too. It was sore, huh? So what I would say, if you don't understand how, if you're with people and you're this and that, and you feel yourself morphing or absorbing, then you can go to my website, medicinewomansolution.weebly.com. It's SOULTION.weebly, WEBLY.com. And you can go and look under the healing tools, and you can begin to use all the healing tools there if necessary. But Celtic weave, so that you can kick other people's energies out. Peanut butter, so you can break contact with your client so that their energy is their energy and your energy is your energy. Connecting heaven and earth so that the energy going up and down can be more of a flow. And then Celtic weave is more of the horizontal. The healing tools that help you, but the awakening process, if your soul is ready to awaken, you're going to hear the differences and you're going to be able to see a world that other people are seeing. At first, it's going to look weird. What are you talking about? But if you can use your soul's gift of awareness, you can change your reality even better than what you already have. You may think it's great, but when you're alone at night, oh, look at that, 24, 24. Look at all those twos. When you're alone at night, are you miserable? Are you worrying? Those are human conditions. You do not have to actually be those. You can stay connected. You can bring in and see different realities. You can change your reality, and you can use a tool like OMG or EFT to really shift your world for the better, to help you awaken. So in tribal, we like to do the basics. Then we go ahead and talk about the soul's particular thing of whatever the topic is. And then we work together to help you heal so that you can change that reality of how you know it, clearing out the sensations and helping you move into a direction that you didn't even know existed, or maybe you forgot. Because every day when we think and feel, we're memorizing and we're creating pathways that says this is my reality. Oh, look at Oh, the temperature just, you missed it. It went 24, 24, 2004, but there was a lot of 2 4s, and then it shifted. My clock behind me, you guys didn't see it. Because if you just hold the point for 15 minutes and literally do as described, holding properly, holding, and allow yourself to think with the sensations and the feelings, not with, well, it's because of this. I know it's because of that. Oh, here's this, here's that. If you're talking in your head of going, well, I do it because of this, because of that, you're not healing. You're keeping. But if you feel the sensations, people are looking down at me and I'm irrelevant, and you know how to measure those two, you can even just do those two alone for that point. But the anxiety, you do not have to have that cells. You're made up of 50 trillion cells, and anxiety is plugged in and turned on, and now you're supposed to feel anxiety. And then every trigger that you're supposed to be worse. You are in charge of those emotional chemical peptides. You can dismantle and say, cells, go back to being relaxing. Get out of that state. So what am I doing? Put that back in. All righty. Just looking, just looking. Okay. Anybody got a question? Is anybody here that would like free reading that you never had one before? That's what I was looking for. Anybody that's left here? And we still have, I feel like I'm supposed to wait until next week. I still have a free reading, a free chat, but I feel like we're supposed to wait. I think it was after that. Are you holding the point, Tanya? Because that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for you to have time to hold the point. And so I'm filling in the blanks. Good. Well, since I got your attention, are you able to notice how you are looking at the feeling instead of going, well, I have this because? Can you feel it? Is the number still high? Are you still feeling, or can you feel how the energy of the emotions are resolving? Let me check L2D. Okay, so Amy, you're down to a 2. You're down to a 2. So keep going. Witnessing and being observant with your awareness of your spirit that something has shifted, a sensation wise, a charge wise, and you're like, oh, that's so different than it was before. Man, my allergies are really bothering me. It's just weird. So it's like, why is my face doing this? And it has to do with an organ. Which organ? And it hasn't decided. It wants me to look at how there is a mental thought of, and it's in my etheric body, that's affecting my third chakra about my will, and I'm supposed to remain timid. So this has to do with the immune system and an immune response that the outside has a threat. Oh. So if I said, what do you want me to do? They said, well, the broadcasts from other people that they're lofty and that I am now coming up. So my learned habit is starting to come up. My learned behavior, it's coming to the surface. Is it ready to be completely healed yet? Not yet. But what can I do? They said the outside is that I have to, my immune system is still thinking. So that's basically a lot of it has to do with my small intestine, is saying that these invading energies. So if I say or do something, I could cause World War III with that person, or it'll trigger. It'll trigger that I'll have to have somebody show up as my parents. Interesting. Write that down. Goodness, it's recorded at the same time. All right, Tanya, you measured it with an 8. were you able to stay focused on a particular thing? And at this point, I forgot even where I told you even hold. I didn't write it down. Something to do with right wrist. So it was spleen, I think. So if you, a second position right, second position deep, yeah. Okay, and you know what emotion you're supposed to be looking at? See, and if I go with this because they told me I have more to the story. But if I were to address and heal certain things right now, they're telling me that I have to look at how they're saying like this contract of okay, focus on fear and anxiety. Okay. Um this contract of had it a second ago, where'd it go? See, my journey is I'm studying. I'm in the middle right now of studying about immuno responses. How can we measure? How can we hold? How can we use the body to work on a physical response? Um, so I can see how they're telling me that I have a karmic debt that says I have to pay for. And is it true? I still have to have this karmic debt. I have to pay for my sins of the past. No, I don't have to. But the karmic debt is that I've done something wrong because they're mad and I have to pay for it. Now, this again, if I look at how my life was, that is where I would be overtime hopelessness. So as soon as I were to say anything, they would blow up, or I would, you know, the cause of because because so the people, so do I do that? I draw them in? No, okay, so I have to let it play out. I have to let. They're telling me right now I have to let it play out. But if I were to hold, for people that are where they're at, R2S, anxiety. So I had her hold deep because I can't do this again. But if she wants to, and now this is where Tanya would come in, R2S, meaning your thumb would go soft. Okay. And then it'd be the same thing for me, was that I would need to go into an anxiety. My body's doing a form of anxiety, and my body says, I can't do it again. So I would do it in the same fashion, R2D and then R2S. So when you get done with your feeling, because anxiety is what you know, and anxiety is part of that identity, then you have to work on how do I know what anxiety is? How has it saved me? And then I would have to do the same thing. So my response of having how has my body acting this way saved me? If you were to first glance, it'd be like, oh, don't get near this woman. Something's wrong with her. Two, you could say, oh, I have to become sick so that it gives them a purpose to stop their behavior to love me. Um, or my body is saying I'm so used to doing this because I feel very timid. So this is an automatic, like blushing. For me, it'd be automatic. I feel timid. I said, so if I ask, am I timid right now? Mentally, no. Emotionally, no. Spiritually, no. Am I timid physically? Yes. I said, is it my 57-year-old self? Oh, no. I said, what age is it? My 46-year-old self. And that's the one I was working on. And that is, see, in my mind, which I just went to an experience. I can go back to the year. I can go back to exactly where it was at, what what emotions that I had. Um, but the soul's it's like hashtag I don't have to believe my own BS. But at that moment, I can see where I could feel my body. Right, I'm having a hot flash right now because my body's saying, my body's saying, see, see, see. She says my anxiety helped me to know if I needed to help my brother feel safe. Okay, see, so there is a story. So the question is it serving to do that anymore, because for me, I can go back instead of just 46, because that's not my first time of experiencing that. And it goes back to my 3-year-old. So I'm having the exact type of explosion, and how my body is like going, oh my God. Okay, my dad's dead, right? So he's not in the picture, but my body still holds the roots and the experience and the charge. And so until I can feel my safety, security, stability, sanity, surrounding space, that freedom, if it's out of balance, now I may not be aware of the program that's running. I am aware because I'm telling you about it. But if I didn't know that that was there, then I'd be like, what are you talking about? But I'm fully aware that it's hooked into the way my immune system is remembering to respond. Again, I have to finish reading this one book um, because there's too many details to write down. And so I have to experiment with how I'm doing the healing. I get what they're doing because I chose to be that particular healer. To measure it now, how do you feel? Tanya, how do you feel? Do you feel like you can understand and you can that the number is there? You at any time you can go, somebody can react that way and you can go into that. It's a 4 or 5. You're beginning to understand that you have the ability to heal this. Would I love to have you down to 0? Yes. But somehow it's still serving because it's part of the identity. This is where then you step up and go, wait a minute. And you have EFT. If you go to my website, you got all these other healing tools. But at the same time, you'll begin to see the wisdom as you take out certain emotions and balance them out, your cells out. You're going to get great epiphanies and awarenesses, and you're going to go, oh, that's why I did it. That's why my body is acting this way. That's why but there's a lot you can do. Like you can work specifically on irrelevant. I feel irrelevant, or I feel this lofty energy. They look down upon me. And that's actual pictures. This is where sensory accessing would be. Worried I won't get stuff done if I don't worry about it. Exactly. You got to decide, is that still serving you? Yes, you can ask the question. Yes and no question. Well, ask your question, and I won't may not say yes or no, because we have the quantum field, which means you don't have to have just one answer. So your soul may be on a different storyline, or if you're asking me about somebody else, that's a different story as well. So you're in 10th grade. And the thing is, there's a little bit of worry. I don't want to take the test. Have you done everything that you chose to do? Did you study? Did you do everything? So the question is asked, will I get to at grade 10 without having to be retested? You have a great fear that says, no, I don't really want to do the work. There's a great fear. But there's this, the outside is very much of a habit that you have lofty people that are constantly on your butt. So you will not be at your best performance when you do take the test. So we have to take care of a little anxiety, or you have to take care of a little bit of fear. I would tell you to look up emotional freedom technique. Okay, I have it on my website for free. You can do it. It's emotional freedom technique. And when you're going to go, worry comes up. Oh my God, am I gonna? It's a 10. You can learn to measure. You can learn to tap, use freedom technique to get that down. And you, after, let's say you've done a couple rounds of it, and I would do the full gamut, which means you eye rolling and all of that. And then all of a sudden you test, you're like, what is it? It's not an 8, it's not a 10, it's a 2. Oh, but it's still there. So then you finish tapping it out. What happens is that you're going to change it so it's in your favor. And so it don't matter what's really going on. So keep working with yourself, and you can start to develop a healthier habit to the point where you don't have to let fear lie to you and make it feel like it's convenient. Fear will lie. Welcome. All right, Tanya, you are worth it. Just keep healing, keep growing. Okay. Now, Rex, if you want to re-listen to this, then you can go over to YouTube, Medicine Woman Soultion, Soultion, and watch today's. Your name will be next. You'll have a number next to it. Okay, so I think it was 218 and your name was Rex. And so Amy then says, what number is that? Yeah, you finally have changed the vibration. And so you've finally changed the inside. Now, that's very good. Very good. So just keep an eye on it and don't let it get any higher. You don't have to. You have to keep checking. Okay. Thank you. Today was a great show. Yes, today is a great show. Um, just waiting for this energy field to shift a little bit and we can go further into what we're supposed to be doing. So I'm just still sitting back waiting. It's so weird because on my screen, that screen is perfect, but on this phone, yeah, no. But again, I care more about how it looks on YouTube because these three will disappear. So Rex, heal the fear. You don't have to believe it. You can change your future. You can change it. Tanya, keep going. Maybe you can do some EFT. Like I said, if you go to my website, these healing tools can be very helpful to you. But you got to stop believing in that feeling and that charge because you got to see more of it to prove that you're right on a program level. But if you disrupt the program and you change the emotional chemical peptide, you can see something different than what you already know. You can see it for the better. Oh, somebody's outside honking the horn. Okay, it's time for me to go, and I appreciate all of you being here, and thank you so much for the likes and the shares. Remember, in YouTube, get the thumbs up, and give a subscription while you're at it. That can help support and give back. That would be wonderful. Ready to get my numbers up to 1,000, so let's help us everybody to get there. Okay. All right, I am going to hashtag. You're going to learn that these words. Hashtag resolve to evolve. Hashtag heal instead of deal. Hashtag I can heal that. You can heal that. Hashtag when in doubt, grab a healing tool and heal it out. Hashtag I don't have to believe my own BS. And my favorite, hashtag thank you, Spirit. You've got this. You're already blessed and you're already whole. I'm going to hold that space for you. So stay blessed.